are live. Whoop, whoop. There it is. Let's go, guys. Whoo, man. Had to get that prayer in. I was doing all those things. I was throwing on the pants, all these things. And I'm like, oh, I got to do the prayer. I forgot. Luckily, my other kid woke up. We could all be together. Kid knows how to hold the hands now when we all pray. Says amen at the end. So it's absolutely incredible. Let's jump right in, guys. Whew, man, feeling good. We got the tabs up. We got the tabs ready to go. Don't you guys worry. The tabs are ready to go. And there are so many tabs. There are so many tabs right now. Let's just lock right in right away. Bang. We got this tab. Of course, you guys already know. And good morning, I should say also. We should also say good morning. You guys know about the Buy Me a Coffee app, buymeacoffee.com/Coach Colin. Get in there and check it out. I'll put a link in the description and I'll pin it in this post right now. I will pin it. But a lot has gone on. A lot of stuff. And you know what? We're going to talk about things in the vein of, for a little bit, we're going to talk about Candace and what was going on there. People attacking her daughter, which is absolutely insane. But it kind of touches on something that Candace was talking about. And I forgot to pull this up, so I'm going to make sure to pull it up now. Kind of touches on something Candace was talking about when she was talking with Hunter Biden. She was talking about feeling safe and how there's always been a left versus right mentality. And it's always been a little wild, but we're seeing some of the first times where people do not want you to feel safe for having a different opinion. That is a real thing that's going on. And it's going to be a theme throughout this episode, I think. Kind of just has to be. Oh, what can I do? Let me just see if I can actually find the clip. Safe. Let's see if we can actually find the word safe inside of this episode. I don't think we can. Either way, I will talk about it. She was talking about how people don't want you to feel safe anymore if you have a different opinion. They want you to feel afraid. And we've seen this in many different ways recently. And when I say recently, I'll say the span of like a few years. Maybe you've clicked into it even, years before, but I would say at least 4 years. They've really wanted you to be afraid to have your differences of opinions. I'm not missing the tab. I'm not missing any. Well, one tab. Yeah, one tab was missing. All right. Fine. I'll tell you which tab's not missing. I'll tell you which tab's not missing. This tab's not missing. Okay. I got this one. I already showed you guys this. I just keep it. It's been in the tabs for days, a week almost now. Why do I still have it? What am I doing with this? Am I going to print this out? Am I going to print this out and put it over the Rogan picture one day? I don't know, guys. How old is Candace's daughter? She's 3. This is not a grown daughter that was on X talking smack to people. This is a toddler, guys. This is just a toddler that is being subject to what this toddler is being subject to. But there has been this thing where they want you to be afraid of having a certain difference in opinion. Now, this was something that we always used to talk about the left doing. Elon Musk talking about the left and how they're the party of violence and et cetera, et cetera. And now we're starting to see it more and more on the right. More and more. And we're going to go through that. We're going to go through that a whole bunch. Hit you with some nightmare fuel really quick, though. You mind if I hit you some nightmare fuel? Oh, God. Who is this? Sam Fam Reacts? Absolutely not. How dare you? Get this off the screen. Straight up nightmare fuel. Just absolutely disgusting. What does someone say? The left was infiltrated and now they've infiltrated the right. Yeah, exactly. Who is they? That's always a question to ask. I think I know. If you asked Ian Carroll, I'm sure he'd tell you who it is. Or what it is, you know? But let's just get right into the whole wild drama that ensued. Let's just jump in here. I'm going to be showing you tweet after tweet now. Like I said, we got a lot of tabs open. To cover 2 topics, I got like 20 tabs open at least. Mentally disturbed Erica Kirk cultist finally deleted her disgusting post targeting Candace Owens' own child. Children should always be off limits, but sadly, some of the most hateful and morally bankrupt people on this app think attacking innocent children is acceptable behavior, pure scum. And what this person is referring to is a post that got deleted, I guess, because this person woke up. I can make another reason for it, though. This is the actual tweet. The tweet is Candace's daughter is going to grow up to be a major B word, or in prison, or both. And this is just under a post that Candace just said, you know, husband, it's a messy jersey. Daughter said, I'm not messy. LOL, LOL. No one insults the princess, you know. Just a cute picture. That's all it was. Just a very cute picture. Little cute thing that happened. And this person, Natalie Jean, I don't know, Besner, decided, NJ Besner on X decided to say that about her daughter. Absolutely unprovoked. I don't even think Candace goes back and forth with this person. This is one of the people. This is like a Gary. This is like a Graham. This is like if you're on X, then you probably know about a guy, Bren. There's like Cinema Sigma or something like that. There's a whole bunch of these weird Zio Ranger clowns. They're more like minions. They're not even the Zio Rangers, because that's Ben, that's Levin. You know, that's those type of guys. You can call them Zio Rangers. These people are more like minions. They're just running around, bumping into each other. Weird glasses, just like Candace bad, yeah! Banana. You know, that's basically what they are, 24/7. So, but the thing about it is, they're starting to get more and more vicious, right? Way, way more vicious. So, this person went on to say, you know, Candace never attacks never attacked Erica's children. Meanwhile, some of y'all are on this app defending people insulting a 3-year-old. The delusion is honestly impressive at this point. Why lie? There's so many people who right away, like, perfect example. Sure, she just attacked a widow with no evidence of wrongdoing. Supporting Candace is like acting, you know what I mean? Like, there's just people who are just over and over again are just going to try and defend this. They're coming out of nowhere. You know, I would love to say that they're bots. You know, I think this person is a bot, but who knows? And they're just coming out of nowhere, and they're just defending what this lady did, saying this about Candace's daughter. Every single attack on Erica has been an assault on her children as well. Oh, just a perfect connection to absolutely nothing. You know, I love connecting the red strings on the thing, like that meme where he's trying to figure everything out. I love doing that, but these red strings don't connect. You know, saying something about Erica, and it's not an attack. Pointing out things about Erica is not attacking her children. That's not a thing. Okay. Nobody's calling out Gigi or his Charlie's little boy for anything. Candace and her cultures accuse, attack, stalk, harass, cyberbully Erica for months. All of these things. This is incredible. This is like as dumb as like back when I was defending the president, who's a billionaire, and I'm acting like he's just a normal guy. Why are you guys coming after a normal guy? That's how stupid this is. Candace has caused unnecessary threats against Erica and her children. See, this is the narrative that people are trying to push out. Candace caused all this. So yes, she has 100% attacked her children. She's never. She talked about Gigi on her podcast. No, she didn't. And if she did, it wasn't like that Gigi. You think Candace was like, and next we're going to get into Gigi. Where's this kid been, and why doesn't this kid show their face? That's not what Candace was doing. There was none of that going on when it came to Candace. The rest of what this person has to say is just a bunch of nonsense. But I just show you, you know, over and over again, just there are people really, really, really trying to defend what this person did to Candace's child. Of course, Candace responded, and I would think she is going to respond with some fire today. I would think she is going to say something. I think she's going to dedicate a good chunk of time to this on her podcast today, because she is coming back today, ladies and gentlemen. She will be live around the usual time. She says ultra Zeo Rangers and wanting to harm children go hand in hand. And that was in response to Daily Fredo, who was talking about, you deleted this post. Even your own followers came after you for it. You called Candace Owens toddler and Major B. Maybe take a break from the internet for a while. Your hate and obsession consumed you to an unhealthy level. You know, I see that a lot. You know, I've talked about that with Gary. I think Gary's getting to that point. I really do. He tried to dox me the other day, just randomly. I wasn't even involved in the conversation. He just randomly did it because someone mentioned me. You know, so that's the vein of, you know, they don't want you to feel safe. Yes, Candace is on today. That's the realm. That's why I'm talking about this. They don't want you to feel safe. If you are going against, I guess, Turning Point, which is linked to the GOP, which is linked to some weird plan that they have to possibly put this Dr. Kirk into some kind of political position. I don't know. I guess then you deserve to be afraid. Candace also responded with this. Should imagine trending on Twitter for calling a 3-year-old a Major B. And then she called out that account that I was talking about. It says that person who has 100,000 people online, no link whatsoever, but has been on Fox News. Interesting. You know, when people have no link and there's no way for you to find what they do. I could be wrong. I don't want to click through on the profile. I don't want to give her any shine, but she could have a link. But I feel like these people are at the point where it's very hard to make the case. It used to be hard to make the case that people were getting paid. It's getting really hard to make the case that people are not getting paid. I mean, what else would drive you to this sort of craziness, this absolute disgusting behavior? You know what I mean? Gutter trash is an understatement with this one, you know. Influencer deletes post predicting doom for Candace Owens toddler. It's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. It doesn't even touch on anything. It doesn't even touch on the case. It doesn't even touch on Candace, really. It's just nonsense. Another person said this. What kind of person says this about a child? Get help, lady. Tagging that same person. And again, she tried to delete it. But, you know, and here's the thing. She tried to delete it. When we talk about, you know, these people not wanting people to feel safe for their opinion, she deleted it, but she put it out there, right? When you put it out there, you know what's going to happen. You can delete it after. That's like what happened to Brandy and Gary. Gary posts nudes of Brandy, deletes it, he apologizes, but it still happened. So it's still a little bit of a check to let you know, like, hey, you know, I could go down this road. I could start doing stuff like this to you. Hey, just so you know, we saw what you posted about your kid. And just so you know, like, we see your kid. We could start talking about your kid. Unless you want to take your foot off the gas with this whole investigation. Unless you want to stop showing up to Tyler Robinson's hearings. When I say that, I mean Brandy. Billy and Brandy, they show up all the time. There's a thing there that they're trying to accomplish. Later, this lady, Natalie, I don't know. I don't care, quite honestly. She says this in response to Mel. So Mel says this. Mel says, I know we should have probably expected from these demons, considering they cheer when babies are bombed in Gaza, but I was still stunned when I saw that post earlier. Just complete and total filth. You belong to the father. You belong to your father, the devil. Then she comes back and she says, I have never, in fact, cheered anything happening to any young person in that place. It's wild how my opinion on Candace somehow translates to a certain opinion on a foreign nation that Candace has nothing to do with. Very low IQ. It's also wild how Candace and all these sycophants like Mel immediately tie this to Philadelphia or being a Zio Ranger, or at least she wants to be one. You know, they're all climbing that large totem pole. They all want to be right next to Ben. They all want to cling to the eyebrows of the top dog, which is Ben, you know. when I'm not even pro Philadelphia or a Zio Ranger content creator. This is 100% absolute BS. You could just go to this person's post. The second Candace started talking about the greatest ally is the second that this lady decided she has to make 40 posts an hour about Candace. I mean, it's just straight up. I'll show you that in a second. Somebody actually scrolls through her feed and shows that whole thing. My opinions on Candace have nothing to do with her opinions on Philadelphia or my own opinions on Philadelphia. They have to do with Candace and her words and her actions. Absolute BS. Again, this is the exact same playbook. You got to watch the playbook. This is the exact same playbook that they're coming at people with when it comes to Massey. They're going, oh, it has nothing to do with what he said about that place or the greatest ally. Oh, it has nothing to do with that. You know, the only reason it has nothing to do with the $33 million, apparently. $33 million pumped into that, making it the most expensive unseating of a candidate ever in U.S. history. Has nothing to do with that. Has everything to do with the raw, unadulterated power of the president. That's all it was. He went against the prez. There's no one behind the prez. There's no puppet. That's not BB working him like a sock puppet. BB's just scratching his back. That's all that is. Come on. Don't be such a conspiracy theorist. We're not buying it. We're not buying it anymore, obviously. Somebody else said, yeah, I saw this earlier. Shame on this lady for saying such disgusting things about someone's beautiful child. Oh, man, I couldn't imagine. I went off on one person because they mentioned my wife. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I got to go off on you. That person was very upset about it, apparently. I mean, you know, you should probably leave people's loved ones alone. What kind of person says this about a child? Any child. Get help, lady. Oh, I already read that one. Then we have, I like Sam Pham Reacts. I like Sam Pham Reacts. Apparently, she's friends with Holy Fire Luna. Charlie Kirk would never have been okay with this. To pretend otherwise is asinine and downright ridiculous. People like this are why Candace Owens is and will continue to win and win bigly. Win bigly for sure. And this is just in response to somebody actually just saying, you know, the Zio Ranger R-word cult that is now involved with Turning Point. This is how they go. And the thing is, I shouldn't say she is involved with Turning Point, but it's very interesting that everything you do has to do with going after Candace because she's going after Turning Point. She's saying the words and actions, but what are Candace's words and actions? Is Candace's words and action just she says the R word and this lady's just like, that's not right. I got a kid at home. Is that what it is? No. What are her words and actions? Well, she talks about the greatest ally. She talks about Turning Point. She talks about Turning Point's connection to the greatest ally. She talks about the CEO of Turning Point and her connection to the greatest ally and the greatest ally's possible involvement into what happened to Charlie. So you're saying it has nothing to do. I'm not Daisy here, guys. I'm not Baron. It's not really hard to figure this out, guys. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. You know, it doesn't take this long to figure out what's going on here. But again, they don't want you to feel safe. Did you ever notice that the women attacking Candace Owens' toddler are the same women not screaming for the files to be released, even though Charlie was adamant about them being released? To those people who protect peas and openly attack toddlers while quoting scripture will send a lot of souls to hell. Yeah, that's also the thing, right? Everybody, this person right here is very enthusiastic. Yo, what's up? All right, Queen, relax. It's more, come on, we're all drinking our coffee here. Calm down. All right. Glad you're here. Very enthusiastic. You know, hit that like button with the same enthusiasm, please. It's very true. These people are quoting scripture. They're acting like they're, big into scripture. I've seen that a lot with the Grahams and the Garys. You know, they're like, oh, a true Christian. And you know what the Bible says. And it's like, you know very well you don't read the Bible. You know Gary's not reading the Bible. You know that's not happening. You know? Like I went into a little talk about God in the beginning of the episode. I'm not doing that to virtue signal. That's what came up. I almost got choked up. I had to pull away from the topic. And it comes up more and more as I go through my journey. That's like how you ever see, you think Gary randomly says, you know what? I was reading scripture the other day. You're not reading scripture. The guy's a demon. That's why his hair is red. Kandahar giant. They don't have feelings like the rest of us. I don't know. That's what I heard. I can't be sure. But to just touch on, again, what this woman does, how her account actually works. Mel pointed this out. There's an entire industry of influencers like this. It's so freaking weird. Let's just take this and just slow it down a little bit. Hey, I said pause. Let me just take this and just slow it down a touch, just so we can really comprehend what's going on here. This is actually her page, and this is just what it is. It's just all about Candace. It's just all about Candace. It's just all about Candace. This is crazy. I mean, this is coming from someone that has Candace Owens in a few of his thumbnails. This is me talking here. This is a bit much. This is kind of a bit much here, you know? If it's not about Candace, it's about Erica Kirk. What I'm doing has nothing to do with her feelings about the greatest ally. It has to do with her words and her actions. And a paycheck, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. But I will say this, you know, as much as I like to just do what I love, yeah, if I was doing all that and I wasn't getting paid, I mean, knock me upside the head, right? If I'm just at home, it takes a lot to do that. It takes a lot to just tweet like that, unless you're not a real person, unless there's just some kind of entity behind this face just working it. You know, I do think that's happened with some people. Some people are saying Candace derangement syndrome. You know what I like about you saying Candace derangement syndrome? Sorry, that's the wrong one. You know what I like about that? You know what I really like about that is I've said this before about the president while I was basically campaigning for the now president. I said one thing that is very true. It was true, right? Is that, and it's very true for Candace as well. When people would deal with the president, especially while he was running, all decency, all sympathy, all natural human niceties, you know, all of that would just go out the window. Whenever they were talking about him, whenever they were covering him, it would all just go out the window. They would just toss it aside. And that's exactly what you see happening with Candace. Every single time one of these weirdos goes after Candace, all the decency, all the being charitable, all of that stuff just gets tossed aside. And they just say, don't worry about it. Who cares? It's Candace. She said a thing about Erica. Come on. Erica's this lady that we had no idea existed up until 6 months ago. I mean, come on. We got a ride for her. Erica's this lady that I've never met in my entire life. And I know nothing about. How are we not? We have to defend this lady. Am I right? This is crazy. You know? It's weird. It's very, very weird. And it's not very, very weird because I'm in the camp of Candace is going to be president or vice president one day within our lifetimes. I think that's going to happen. So it's not weird for me. I just see the exact same thing happening. Yeah. I've been connecting the dots for a long time. I've been putting the thumbtacks and I connected there. I've been doing this for a long time, guys. Okay. I'm a black belt on connecting the red strings and this person connected to. I'm a black belt at it now. But that is what happened with her daughter. And I think there is going to be hell to pay throughout her episode today. I really do. I think it's going to be something to see. And I don't wish it on anybody. You know, there were some things that were mentioned in Gary's phone call with Mitch Snow, where he talked about some things in regards to his kids. I don't touch on that, you know. There's like it's just I don't know. It's just a place like why go there? Why even go there? Doesn't help. You don't win. You can't own a 3-year-old unless you're Dave Rubin. That was a crazy joke. But the jokes that you can just add with just a name, it's a thing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm a comedian. I'm sorry. There's some things you got to get out on stage. I'm just not there. I'm sorry. But you can't just do that. So I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. Why don't you wait until that daughter is like 21 years old? I bet then she'll be a force. Oh, if she's anything like Candace, and if she's as gangster as George is said to be, you're gonna have a debate on your hands, buddy. Are you kidding me? All right, just wait. Stay online. I'm sure one of her kids is gonna be exactly like her. So get ready. Get ready for it. It's coming eventually. But that is that disgusting behavior. It happens more and more. And you know what? We'll just talk about it throughout the episode, because I have an Officer Tatum clip. I'm actually pretty disgusted by it. Of course, we're gonna make fun of him. I wouldn't, not make fun of him. You guys know how that is. I'm going to do that, but I mean, it's really a disgusting clip, and it does really touch on this whole thing. I'll move it up because I was gonna actually cover something with Baron and whatnot, but I'll move it up just because I want you guys to see it. I'm just gonna move it right up here along with the Candace drama, but it's a very gross clip. I don't know what's going on with him, why he would get like that. He's usually such a nice boy, Let's move on though. So this did get to the point. There's 900 likes. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. It helps tremendously. Even those of you that are hate watching right now. Oh, it helps tremendously. Those of you that grew up with me and you're acting like you don't know this show exists and you watch it all the time and you go, he's not that person. What is this? You hit the like button too. All of you hit the like button. Helps tremendously. You'd be surprised. Yeah, you get into this content game, the people who dislike you the most are the people who know you. Isn't that something? They're the ones who are like, you can't be more than you were. You got to stay in the thing that I know you as. And when you move out of that thing that I know you as, it makes me feel bad. So I don't like what you're doing. Oh, it's a weird thing, man. When you try to improve yourself, oh, it's dangerous. Anyway, am I drunk? Or did I just get blurry? Or were you drunk? Were you drunk for a second and you made everything blurry? Or was that me? Well, what happened? Who's drinking? Who's drinking this early in the morning? Who did that? Anyway, it's just me in here. Let's get into it. So what ended up happening more is that, of course, Loomer got into the mix with Candace. I'm just going to I don't drink either. Don't worry. I'm just kidding. Loomer just got into the mix. And 7 years on alcohol. I haven't had alcohol since I was 24. Good God, that's almost 20 years. Jeez, I'm getting older. Oh my gosh. I was 24 almost 20 years ago. Jeez. Anyway, Laura Loomer got into it with Candace Owens. Pretty ridiculous statement that she had. Exclusive. I wonder how much she gets paid for that exclusive, right? I bet it's not Dom numbers. She's not getting 15 grand for that. Nope. Is Candace Owens using Hunter Biden to influence the outcome of the defamation lawsuit filed against her by the Macrones in Delaware? What? Hunter? Hunter doesn't have any power. At least I think. I don't know. The hearing, especially with his dad gone, his dad's not even involved in politics anymore. I don't even know. His dad's probably just, doing the grandfather thing, doing the senile grandfather thing. The hearing for the motion to dismiss Candace Owens's defamation lawsuit was filed against her by the Macrones and is coming up in Delaware on June 22nd. And then you have no idea. I despise people who do this. It's like you're tagging Emmanuel Macron. Why? Is there someone running his account that you have to notify that you said things about Candace? Like, why are you doing that? Oh, that annoys me to no end. Many people wonder why Candace had Hunter Biden on her show last week and why it was such a love fest, even though she previously called for him to be jailed and said that he was a degenerate and alleged predator, right? She also apologized. I mean, anybody that watches the actual interview can see what was going on there. Well, for starters, the Biden family is very popular in Delaware, and the judge in Candace's case is Judge Sheldon K. Rennie. He was appointed April 27th by Democrat Governor John Kearney Jr. for a term that ends April 27th, 2030. I love how people do this. I see through this so much now. I like, like the they live glasses get put on. When people try to do this, they go, and you know what? He was appointed by a Democrat governor. It's like, hey, I said the word. Come on, show your teeth. I said Democrat. Ooh, you know how we feel about them, right? It's so gay. It's just so ridiculous, you know? I didn't see through it before. Now I see through it. Like, I know the picture you're trying to paint as you do that. John Carney and Joe Biden are longtime Delaware political allies, with Carney previously serving on Biden's U.S. Senate staff and later working closely with the governor in Delaware. Okay, Carney worked on Biden's staff earlier this year. This is a lot. Oh, God, Loomer. Come on. How many more of these? Oh, God. Oh, goodness me. Jeez. Ugh. I'm sorry to do this to you guys in the morning. Jigsaw here, but Jigsaw, very calculated, very strategic, right? Let's play a game. Let me just, I'll skip over this. U.S. Congressman and Governor of Delaware, as well as Governor of Delaware, Carney collaborated extensively with the Biden administration. Joe Biden appointed Carney to his bipartisan council of governors to assist. The one thing that she's missing. Here's the one thing that she's missing, right? In 2018, he joined Biden, blah, blah, blah. Here's the one thing that you're missing when you're trying to say how powerful Joe Biden is. He wasn't running the country. I still have all the conservative talking points. One of our main talking points was he shouldn't be president because he's not running the country, because he can't, because he falls upstairs. And when he sees Zelensky, he thinks he's Putin. That's it. That was what we were saying. Don't forget what we were saying. Remember? You can't now be like, and you know what, Biden, and he's connected to the Biden family, and that Biden's cunning. No, that's what they were saying. They were saying Biden's sharp as a tack. And we were like, no, he's as sharp as a pile of mud. And they were like, that's so ageist. And we were like, shut your mouths and get him out of office. That's how it was going. We can't forget. You can't all of a sudden change it. He's now limber. He's now limber and active. What? Are you sure? He's now calling the shots. Come on. You can't do both. You got to pick one. We went too deep on the fact that he can't do anything. Okay? He fell off a bike while it was stationary. He was in a picture and he wandered off. Macron and the Prime Minister of Italy, Meloni, they were like, oh, shoot, come back. It was like their grandfather wandered off. And they were like, oh, my God. And he was just like, oh, I can see my great uncle. What are you doing up there? Uncle Buck. Hey, Uncle Buck's up there. Can we go up there and talk to Uncle Buck? Oh, who's that beside you, Uncle Buck? Is that Jesus? Remember? We were making all the jokes about him. Come on, man. Can't forget. Loomer was there. Jigsaw was there. Jigsaw knew what we were doing. Come on. We're all on the same side at that point. Anyway, she's basically saying the Biden's super powerful. And that's her thing. Okay. So she's showing here like this. I remember the sunglasses. Like this guy even knows where he is right now. He probably thinks one of these black women behind him is Kamala Harris. Are you kidding me? Tucker Carlson told stories about him walking around in the White House in a diaper. Tucker Carlson really told that story. He said he had it on high authority. You gotta remember what we were saying, okay? You can't forget. You can't forget and then show us this picture and expect us to go, oh, whoa. Someone just said, let's go, Brandon. You know how deep I was. Let's go, Brandon. That's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? And I still keep the cup. Oh, of course. Of course, let's go, Brandon. I still have the cup. Oh, man. Anyway. And it's a good cup too. A lady made it. She makes cups. You go to Leander. There's a farmer's market. Can't tell you which one because I still go there. But she makes all these cups. They're real nice. I can't imagine what her cups are going to say now. Her cups are going to say all sorts of wild stuff now. Things have definitely changed. Kamala Harris being black. How stupid can people be? So yeah, that's her whole thing. I guess this is the guy. Right? This is one of the guys. So she's just basically making that case, right? And and all of a sudden it started. I can't even go into the comments of Loomer stuff. I can't even do it. Candace out of nowhere jumped in and said this. Candace got pissed. Candace is like, first you're attacking my daughter. Now you're coming at me. I got to deal with the ugliness inside of someone to actually say something about my daughter as I post just a playful picture of her. And now I got this jigsaw looking lady talking smack about me like I'm trying to cooperate with the crime boss, Joe Biden. So she says, laughing her A off, can someone with an IQ above 40 please explain to this rabid hyena what the judicial argument is in court so that she can avoid slapping exclusive on her mental disfigurations in the future. It may also help her to understand why no one needs to flee the country or hide assets at the Vatican before first hearing last month's schizo musings. So she's talking about what she said last month about Candace hiding assets in the Vatican, which is why she ended up going to Italy alongside Nick, and they all huddled together. Ian Carroll was there as well, and they were all trying to figure out, they were game planning together, apparently. Left me and Baron out, which, fine. You guys are on a different level. Cool. Have fun in the Vatican. We'll go. Me and Baron will have a guys trip. We'll go to the Vatican, okay? We don't need you guys. We'll go on our own, and we'll have a great time. We'll eat pizza. And meet priests, see the sights. Did you guys watch that live stream? Me and Baron just running around the Vatican. Candace Owens needs to be reported for doxing. Now, this is what it turned into. A whole bunch of stuff ended up happening. It was really, really crazy. So Candace is clearly pissed, right? I can tell you when she's pissed. Candace Owens needs to be reported for doxing. The link to her post that violates the term of service is here. If she incites someone to commit an act of violence against me, she will be criminally held accountable. Authorities have already been contacted, and anyone who comes to my home will be trespassed, arrested, or bang, on site by armed security. How on earth does this lady have armed security? That's weird. That is very weird. How do you have armed security? See, this is what I mean when I talk about people and possibly getting paid and this and that. Because it's like, how on earth does this ghoul have enough money for armed security? I don't know. Listen, some people buy different things. Maybe she just invested in that. Who knows? But it's weird. Let's go here. Arrested child, blah, blah, blah. Florida is a stand your ground state. There you go. Also just said she's in Florida. Here's the post that Candace made that has a jigsaw all in a tizzy. Candace said, I'm not going to post her public address, but if you look up her fake husband, Andrew Simpson's records in, what is this, Pensacola, Pensacola. You can find it. It's all public information. That's why Trump trusts me as his number one advisor, because I do the digging and I bring exclusive receipts. So this is Candace. This is Candace going off right now. And it was in response to her saying this. So she actually she just started going off and pretty much like imitating Jigsaw. This person actually deleted their post. What this person wrote here, I think I'm going to be able to find it. What that person wrote there was basically like, why does this person live in the same state as me? If you want, I can look it up. She said something along those lines. And then Candace said that back to her. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Boom. So this is what this person deleted. I live in that same area. Want me to find out? Why does she live near me? That demon needs to be reported. So I guess she kind of felt the heat, right? That Jigsaw heat that only Jigsaw could bring. And she was like, I better delete this post. So she then deleted it. But Candace is not deleting her post. I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't actually think it violates the terms of service. She said to look into somebody, but she didn't actually. What violates the terms of service is when you actually show an address. That's what violates the terms of service. That's what Gary tried to do to me, actually. Luckily, he was way off, but still. And then Candace says this beforehand. Now, this is where she's like, in this place in Florida, has 3 psychiatric hospitals, one of which houses patients under the Baker Act and is within close distance to where Jigsaw lives. Is Jigsaw actually living as an inpatient at Lakeview Center while pretending to rent the back apartment of someone else's property? Receipts. So now she's kind of illustrating like, hey, you're right. They do run that state. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that about Florida. I did not realize that about Florida. We'll see what happens if Fishback wins the governor seat. We'll see what happens. So this is her basically acting like she's Laura Loomer. This is why she actually says exclusive here. And she's bringing up a theory that is clearly just absolutely ridiculous. And she's yelling receipts, and the receipts are nothing just but addresses. And that's it. The receipts are just, hey, look, this place, this hospital. Oh, man, my theory must be correct, So they're getting into it. And of course, the minions pop up. I didn't have Candace Owens getting perp walked on my bingo card, but it looks like Christmas came early this year. This is a crime. She's trying to take this. And this is all happening, right? And you can't 5150. 5150 Lure. Oh man, 50. I don't know. What does she even have? I don't know. But this is all happening in response to Candace having somebody talk smack about her daughter. That is what's happening right now. Just so you know. Okay. So this is not like by chance. Like Loomer did this. Now they're going back and forth. And now all the minions are like, whoa, the thing to really focus on is the fact that Candace actually said that you can look up where Jigsaw's fake husband lives. And I was like, oh, and like you're going to see more and more of that. Now that's the focus. That's the main thing to be focusing on. Somebody actually said this, very well put. Watching grown adults melt down over Candace has become one of the most psychologically revealing things on this app. You hated the woman so much. You looked at an innocent child and immediately projected criminality, arrogance, and a failure unto her. It exposes your lack of character, self-control, and basic human decency. People with actual intelligence criticize ideas, arguments, and public positions. Low IQ, emotional wrecks attack children because they're too intellectually bankrupt to separate political obsession from reality. The funniest part is people like this always believe they're the good guys. Imagine publicly telling the world your moral compass is so broken that a toddler in a soccer jersey triggers a hateful fantasy spiral. That's not principled. That's pathetic. You're an effing weirdo. So interesting. And again, all of this sparked because of this. So now they're trying to really focus in, and they're like, why aren't we taking Candace out? Like this person here, Candace is now revenge doxing Jigsaw for the crime of performing honest journalism. Wow, the gaslighting is exquisite. I mean, this is premium unleaded gaslighting that we have on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen. This gaslighting is going to cost you $7.90 a gallon. And if you're in Canada, you will be paying $1.92 per liter for this type of gaslighting. This is premium stuff here, you understand. Candace's reaction to the Hunter Biden questions has honestly been more revealing. Like, this is her response. Like, this is Candace's response to what's going on with Hunter Biden, and not a response to somebody going after her daughter. That's what pissed Candace off to begin with. Now, should she pull back from this? I don't think so. I think she's really good at this. I think she's going to take this and make this into something for her show. I think we need to hear, someone said full service, full service, Windows, everything. If you're in California, windows, someone breaks your window, they try to pull you out of the car. I'm kidding. Laura started asking why Hunter Biden suddenly appeared in Candace's orbit as her legal problems landed in Delaware. Blah, blah, blah. Don't forget, we used to say Joe Biden soiled his underwear. Okay. So don't forget, guys. Come on. It's just so silly. It's so silly. Then, more Sam fam. I got a lot of Sam fam. What's going on, Sam fam? This is right in line with how MAGA women really act. Conservative American first women would never. Looks like leftist is hell to me. B words hop up on Zanny and Addies, then hop on the internet and hate on a toddler. That was well said. Well said. I couldn't say all the words, but well said. So then she has another exclusive here. Candace puts out another exclusive. Okay. And this is when you know she's pissed. When you see, this is a block. This is a block of text. That's the picture that went out there. She actually says something back. Then she says something again. I mean, this is how you know Candace is pissed. Exclusive. The problem with Jigsaw isn't her mental illness. It's the stupidity paired with it. Loomer is legitimately low IQ, so we have to suffer her constantly believing she's breaking a story exclusively because she's honest to God, too slow to understand basic concepts like why people purchase homes in trusts or why people might choose to vacation in Italy in the springtime. Her stories are exclusive in the sense that they appear as legitimate conspiracies in her own mind. Candace is really good at this. Like, really, really good at this. Like, Candace, like, I know it would be dangerous for her. She needs to go on a college tour. She's the only one who could pick up where Charlie left off on those college tours. She's really good at it. Like, extremely good at it. People ask why no one sues Jigsaw for defamation. Because there's no actual malice. She truly believes she's uncovered scandals and that people view her as a serious reporter. She isn't trying to be defamatory at all when he says, when he says, I'm reaching out to Macron's lawyers because I found Candace hiding assets. She's authentically that stupid, and she thinks she can be useful to Brigitte. Wow. that is how it would feel to see that written about you, and you're like, I can't even say anything back because the person's gonna demolish me. They're just gonna keep demolishing me. I don't even know what to say back. Absolutely crazy. So that was the picture that went in there, and then Loomer responds. Every Candace post is an admission. So Candace, tell me, if you admit below, as you just did, that you can afford to buy multiple $1 million homes in trusts and vacation in Italy in the springtime. Why are you asking your viewers to donate to you so you can pay your defamation lawsuits? You're a top tier grifter. Guess I struck a nerve. I mean, she sucks at this. This is not a good pairing. I'm not supporting Candace doing this to Laura. I'm not supporting her doing this to Jigsaw anymore. This is not fair. This is not a fair thing that's going on anymore. Okay, this is not fair. It's just, this needs to stop. Actually, this is not right. This is no longer a right thing. The only reason I do support it is because I know it's very fake. It's very, very fake what's going on here, because she's not doing it. Again, another person not doing it based on any kind of moral character. This person is doing this because they're activating for the administration, clearly. And it's crazy because Candace has talked about the administration, but not nearly as much as other people. Not nearly as much. She's touched on it here and there, and the president here and there, right? But nothing too crazy. Not as much as Tucker has. So that the administration has this lady activating because Candace is pushing on Turning Point and what happened to Charlie. And that is disgusting. That makes her this Jigsaw character, makes her a very disgusting cog in the machine. Candace then responds and says, exclusive. Jigsaw lives in Pensacola, Florida. John McCain began his naval career in the same place, and his son, Shep, his son's name is Shep? Wow. Shep McCain, who recently passed, was born there. Is Jigsaw being funded by the McCains? I'm just asking questions. Receipts! That's amazing. If this is all Candace does every single time Jigsaw says anything to her, I mean, this is just going to be incredible. And then she just posts exactly this is what she said. She's like, here it is. That's as much research as Loomer tends to do. What can you do? So it's all getting pretty vicious. I'll just say that, and then this person's like, why is Candace encouraging her deranged cult to dox Jigsaw and her fiance? This is absolutely disgusting and dangerous, pure evil. Was kind of the same thing, when Tim Pool did it. When Tim Pool did that to Candace, all of them were just like, no, Tim's not doxing her. He's not doxing her by telling the exact layout of her house and what kind of security she has there and how many people are there and how high the fence is. No. It's just because she's a bad person. That's why he's saying this. That's why he's saying all this. Come on, guys. You gotta know better. Now people are calling, how many rules does Candace have to break before she faces consequences? There's somebody here asking this person, I don't know, Nikita. Apparently this person is like, they work for X, head of product at X. Okay. Please ban Candace for doxing and then do the entire internet a favor and keep her there. How's she been allowed this level of visible, targeted harassment against Erica for the last 8 months, specifically encouraging obsessive harassment and potential inciting of violence against her? Is honestly beyond me. Again, that is the narrative they're trying to push. They're going to keep on trying to push this narrative. You saw Gary do it. Oh, something's going to happen to Erica because of this. You saw Graham do it, saying the exact same thing. You keep seeing these people pop up and say, oh, there's so much harassment going on, and it's all because of Candace. Believe you me, the UNF America tour, they didn't do that documentary because of Candace. I don't even know what they feel about Candace, quite honestly. Right? They didn't do that because of Candace. Those employees that came forward to them, because I've actually been talking to JJ. Well, I haven't been talking. We've spoken, but apparently I have it right there. He says there's some crazy interviews that have yet to come out. Those people didn't get with the UNF America tour and decide to do those interviews because of Candace. Those people didn't show up to JD Vance and Erica because of Candace. Those people Everyone I just mentioned is clicking into what's happening in Turning Point, and they don't like it. That person who was running the Arkansas branch, the Turning Point chapter, he stepped away from he didn't even step away. He rebranded the whole thing and moved away from Turning Point. He didn't do that because of Candace. He did it because he had a conversation with Charlie in person, and now he can see the organization saying things that are opposite, and he felt like it was deceptive. He said himself, or they all agreed that it was manipulative what they were doing with Charlie's name. It's not happening because of Candace. It's not happening because of Candace at all. It's happening because of whatever they decided to do to Charlie. Because it was a decision. I really don't think it was done. I don't think it was a decision made by Tyler Robinson, quite honestly. I don't. Anyway, this last little petty thing here. Somebody's like, yo, Grok, between Candace, who's publicly shared more public information, personal information about the other? Homes, driveways, etc. Whose posts and replies are more likely to cross the line into doxing, inciting harassment, etc., etc.? Grok. It's so fun. If you're not on X, this is a thing that happens. I should explain this. People will just use Grok, which is like Elon Musk's chat GPT, and they'll just ask Grok things, you know, and they'll say, Grok, is this true? Like Thomas Massey's been doing it. Every time somebody brings up Turning Point or the Charlie Kirk show being like an agent, a registered agent, a FARA agent, Thomas Massey will be like, Grok, is this true? Like he's just asking these questions. You know, that's how he gets his answers. That's how a lot of people get their answers, because Grok's very on point. When it comes to research, Grok is great. Like actually extremely good, actually. So they asked that question to Grok. Grok comes through and says, Jigsaw has publicly shared more specific personal information about Candace Owens. Verifiable examples of Jigsaw's recent posts, Google satellite images of Candace's vehicles at her property, lists of registered cars traced via VIN and public records / Carfax, details on multi-million-dollar homes held in the Battery Lane Trust, including a 7.8 million second home purchase, and links to her husband's DUI, a arrest record tying the vehicle and ownership. She frames it as public data, but includes photos, trust info, and asset specific. Candace has accused Jigsaw of doxing, inciting alleged illegal dealer data access via DPPA, but has not posted comparable specific locations and assets details about Jigsaw in the same volume. There you go. And then Jigsaw seems to be in doxing territory. There you go. The Grok is the X version of you say something to me and I say, is that true? And you say, yeah, it's true. And then I start Googling it in front of you. And I go, let me just, no, it's actually not true. Like that. It's the exact same type of thing. So it's like a little petty thing people do in front of each other. You say something, someone just says, Grok, is that true? They're just calling you out in front of Grok, just like that. It's actually really funny. So that is what's going on between Candace and Lumi, Jigsaw, fondly, friend of the show, exquisite cheekbones, a little bit much, in my opinion, but still very sharp, very sharp. Definitely a look maxer, if you know what that is. If you don't, ask your kids about it. They'll tell you all about look maxing. But the whole thing is very weird, and the reason that she's doing it, like I said before, is because they want her to feel afraid. That is what they're looking for. They're looking for you to feel afraid because they're putting out this information about your homes and about your security and about this and about that. And the second something even goes remotely close to what they've done, then they go off and they just go nuts and they say this person needs to be banned and kicked off, et cetera, et cetera. This is what they do over and over and over and over again. They really, really don't want you to feel safe. And sadly, here's another example of one of these people. I think he's graduated to Zio Ranger. I think he's there. He can be the Black Ranger. You know what? Not even. Actually, you know what? Who was the Nerd Ranger? It was the guy with the glasses. He was the Blue Ranger. That's Blake. Blake's definitely the Blue Ranger. I guess he gets to be the Black Ranger. Why not? Probably can't dance as well as the original Black Ranger, but we keep him on there nonetheless. This is Officer T. The T sometimes stands for Tatum, other times stands for Talmud, all sorts of different things. Mr. Mama himself on the mountain of evidence. I gotta tell you, Mama, I just want to see people who get in the way of the administration lose their lives, Mama. Baby, you talking like a retard now. Oh, Mama, come on, don't be saying that about me. Oh, you think I'm making it up? Here you go.
Pay attention to something. I'm glad that this is happening to these fools. I'm just gonna be honest. Can I be honest? That's what you get. I'm glad these people are losing their lives doing this stupid stuff. Can you imagine? ICE is just doing their job, arresting people whom they have an arrest warrant signed by a judge to arrest. And you got ignorant people out here blowing whistles and screaming and doing all of this to distract them for executing a lawful arrest. Like I can't stand these people, and I wish that more of them will lose their life in this situation. To be quite honest, I'm just being honest. I hate these people. Pay attention.
This is crazy. But just understand, okay, when you see something like this is very ignorant. Everybody say ignorant. This is very, very dark, okay? Because he's saying that he wants to see people lose their lives if they're doing something that is against what he feels is the right thing to do. This is a very dark thing to do. Now, the reason that it's a very dark thing for him to do is because he's saying it himself, so he's putting himself on Front Street as that type of person. But he wants other people to feel like he does. It's like, I think it's called the Socratic method. If you could get somebody to say yes and say yes and say yes and say yes and say yes, and then you build up to the thing that you actually want and you ask them, they're more likely to say yes if they keep on. So if you have a channel and people are agreeing with you, and then you get to the point where you say, and I just want to see these people who we've talked about at length, these people on the left, I just want to see them lose their lives if they do XYZ. You're more than likely going to have a lot of people, especially in his case, has 5 million, maybe even 6 million subscribers. He's likely to get 100,000 people who maybe weren't thinking about that, because that's not a thing that people usually think about. They don't usually sit around and think about, man, I wish people who felt different than me politically would lose their lives. That's not a normal thought pattern. But when he brings it up and they've agreed with him so many times, they might just go, you know what? Yeah. Me and Officer Tatum, we agree on so many things. And this is just another one of them. They could be bots. I know he had a building up over time. You know, even if it was 6 million, let's just say it's like 3 million. Like, let's say half of them were bots. It's still a very big following. Let's say it's 1 million. It's still a very big following, right? So very unchristian, very, very unchristian, very crazy, in my opinion, to say something like that. I don't know what has brought him to this point. You know, if you guys don't know, we are brothers, right? But but it's crazy that he's starting to say stuff like this. And again, the reason I bring it up is because they don't want you to feel safe. Right now, what he's saying, because what's happening is they're blowing whistles and all this stuff. It's like a form of protest, right? What's happening in the video, he's not like really being quite eloquent with what's going on. But when these ICE guys roll up and they're going to take somebody, you know, they're going to grab a family or they're going to grab an individual, there's people who will start blowing whistles because they want everybody in the vicinity to have eyes on what's going on in case these guys are too rough, in case they use, you know, potentially, we've already seen it, in case they use, you know, some fatal force, things of that nature. It is disruptive. I would imagine as somebody in that position, it's annoying. I would imagine just as somebody who's just in their house or in their apartment chilling, it's really annoying. But it is just an expression. They are allowed to do it. To say that you don't want this to happen and that you'd like to see those people lose their lives, I mean, you could say the same thing about someone at J6. You could say somebody who was, against being locked up in their house years ago when that whole thing was happening. How far does that go? Joe Rogan, while Joe Rogan was, before 2024, before the president became the president, one thing that he would talk about as he would see the Biden administration doing certain things, he'd see Kamala Harris saying certain things, the whole left landscape. He would say, especially with the prosecution, the lawfare that was going on against Trump, he would say, people don't get it. They're cheering. He was talking about the left. He was saying they're cheering on these people. They're cheering on what's happening to Trump, but they don't realize that same thing can be used against them. Like, it's setting a precedent for that type of stuff to happen. And when Officer Tatum does this and says that type of stuff, he's setting a precedent. This mentality, if everybody says agreed, well, then this mentality can easily be pushed on to people on the right. What's the difference between him saying this and you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like he's trampling on freedom, and he's supposed to be a part of the side that's all about freedom, and personal choice and these values. And he's going against it because, someone said ICE is the idea. Yeah, a little bit. ICE is the IDF. Yeah. I've heard about the links. I've heard about the links between them. But he's just kind of trampling all over it. And it's really disgusting to see. And it really just shows that they will just do anything. They will do anything. Both sides. These political monsters will just do anything. Whatever they're told, whatever they're paid to say, whatever is making the money, they will just say that. It's a crazy thing. And again, I can't stress enough, even as I'm saying all this, it's because he doesn't want you, he or whoever's pulling his strings doesn't want you to feel safe doing that type of thing. There's no difference between what he's saying in this clip and what Destiny said about conservatives. Destiny was like, I think if you go to one of those rallies, and like when he was talking about Butler, he's like, I think if you go to one of those rallies and you lose your life, good. He goes, conservatives should be afraid to gather up in groups. That's how it should be. That's what he said. And everyone thought it was disgusting. In fact, he thought it was disgusting. He made videos about how disgusting it was. And now he's saying the exact same type of thing. It's crazy. So crazy. So disappointing. Which makes this so much easier to do. Sometimes I feel bad. Mama, I just want to see people lose their lives, mama. Oh, baby, you should go and dye your hair blue, baby. Baby, why don't you go get a nose ring, dye your hair blue, move over to Portland, baby. Mama, I ain't moving over to no Portland. I want to stay here in Dallas. I want to stay in Dallas here. Well, baby, you talking like an absolute moron, baby. You know I love you, but you talking like an idiot. Mama, come on. I'm just so upset. I just want to see ICE agents remove people and do what they got to do. Well, ain't nobody got to lose their life for that, baby. Who taught you that? Mama, I learned a lot at the SWAT team. I'm Delta trained on the SWAT team, mama. I seen a lot of things, mama. I love seeing people lose their lives. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I didn't realize. I would have got you a helmet. Mama, what you talking about? I got nice hair. What I need a helmet for? Oh, well, baby, you retarded. I ain't realize you was like that. I knew you was slow, but I didn't realize you was like that. Mama, come on. I'm on the YouTube right now with all the people. You can't say that in front of the people. Well, baby, I'm very sorry. I known you since you were young. You were always slow, but you was cute. This ain't cute, baby. You know? Oh my God. So stupid. So stupid. Such a terrible, terrible person. Once you turn into that, you know what's funny? I was actually watching a video today. Ian Carroll was platforming like he's done for me and so many other people, Baron, myself, Danks. I mean, just so many people. He was putting on blast. He was platforming this guy, Mr. Quigley, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Mr. Q, Mr. Quigley. He was talking about how, and Jordan Peterson has talked about this, and how in World War II, the World War II bad guys, they weren't bad. There were a lot of them that weren't bad at first. They were just normal police officers. They were normal guys. And what they were prompted to do day after day, change them in a very, very crazy way. Now, I don't just mean that they just got signed up and they just became bad. It was this weird thing where they were all given the option to leave and not do the atrocities that we all know about. But they thought to themselves, well, if I leave, then he'll have to do more of the atrocities. If we all leave, then this one guy will be left to do all of these atrocities. So they stayed together first out of this duty to each other as brothers in arms, right? And then what happened was they started committing the atrocities. And it goes way past, what the soldiers, the World War II bad guys soldiers did. It was different. It was pulling people out of their houses, whether they were with child or not. It was throwing them into holes. It was, pew, pew, back of the head type stuff. It was all of this crazy stuff. And what would happen to these guys day after day is that they would vomit, they would throw up, they would cry. It was traumatizing for them. But after a while, they just completely changed into different people. They just changed. They just became terrible. And I think that process can happen domestically. I know, World War II, Germany, I know that was like a domestic thing, but I think that it can happen politically. I think it can happen to creators where they suddenly start to morph and change. And it's because there's financial incentive, and it's because it's their job, and it's because they feel like they just have to keep going. And there's all these different elements to it. But slowly they start to change from what they once were in a bad way. And I really think that's what's happening to him. I think that's what's happening to Gary. I've seen this. I've been watching it. I've been literally following Gary since he started. He activated right as this happened with Charlie Kirk. I don't know if that was planned or not. But he used to be nice. He used to be nice. You could go back in Gary's tweets. He used to actually be nice and like civil. And that's gone now. I don't know if somebody told him to ramp it up or if he was always like that and now it's just coming out. But you start to see it more and more. Same with Graham Allen. Same with Ben Shapiro. Same with Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh has been advocating for all sorts of death recently. You can look into it. There's something that happens as this evil force pushes you. Maybe it's not even an evil force, but as this force pushes you and you use certain things to kind of do the mental gymnastics of why you should be doing this. Well, she's a widow. Well, yeah, she is a widow. And yeah, it's his legacy because he died. He was my friend. And yeah, no, it's fine. I can insult the 3-year-old. No. It's because she's bad. No, she is. Yeah, I punched that protester in the head, but he said he liked Trump. He had a hat on. His hat was red. It didn't say "Make America Great Again." What did it say? It said Redskins. Oh my God. I thought it said "Make America Great." I punched him right in his face. Oh, there's a little something that happens. I need Mensker on the show. Kurt Mensker. I would have Kurt Mensker on the show. I'd probably have to post it to Spotify only, but I'd have him on the show. I like Kirk. I like Kirk. We actually haven't had a back and forth. He's talked some smack about me. I've never really. I talked a little bit of smack about him, but other than that, we're pretty cool. We have a mutual friend It's not even Tripoli or like Bravo or anything. We have a mutual friend, someone that I think we've both interviewed, and he's willing to make the connection. So that could happen, if he wanted to. But again, he's a wild boy. He's a very wild boy. Kirk is a very, very wild boy. But yeah, there is something going on where they don't want you to feel safe. They're pushing for you not to feel safe, very much so. So that is that with Officer Tatum. I was like, man, I got to look into Officer Tatum, what he's up to. And then I see that. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a crazy thing. Like, it's just so crazy. Look at him. Look at him. He looks cute there. He looks like he's having a great time. Is he though? What does he say?
And these people, and I wish that more of them will lose their life in this situation. To be quite honest, I'm just being honest. I hate these people.
I mean, this is crazy, man. That's a sad thing. That's a sad thing to come out of somebody's mouth. I've said it so many times, when people advocate for war, or if you advocate for what he's talking about, it's like there's two sides to it. You're not just advocating for the people on the other side to perish, be blown limb from limb. You're not just advocating for that. You're also advocating for the people who have to do it to be traumatized through it, right? You're also advocating for people on the side that's your side to end up dying. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's a crazy thing. So it's like he's saying, I wish more people would lose their life. What he's actually saying is, I wish that there was a guy who's trying to just do a job, and I hope he goes through the experience of taking someone's life. That's what he's hoping for, because he hates those people that he doesn't even know. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's very weird. For all he knows, it's one of his subscribers, right? You know, it could be one of his subscribers. You don't know. Might be someone who's on the left, but they're like, I like to listen to this guy. I like to hear what he has to say. You have no idea, you know? Anyway. Officer Tatum, ladies and gentlemen. Retard of the show. Let's move on. Man. Sad to see it happen. It's weird. It's a weird thing to see happen to people. Really weird thing to see happen to people. So, you guys know Norm Finkelstein? You know Norm Finkelstein? Maybe you know that name because he's been on Candace's show so much. Maybe you know him because of that. You know, recently he actually he turned on Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Isn't that weird? Very odd. He did recently. Do I have those timestamps? I'm positive I have those timestamps. I must have those timestamps. Let me see here. Norm. Yeah. 3240. Where we got? Very weird. Very weird to see this happening. But yeah, he's definitely changed his tune on Candace and on Tucker, actually.
Right wing. It's Tucker Carlson, Mamdani against the charges of anti-Semitism. He just blows with the wind. He assesses the political forces, and he just goes with it, whichever way the wind is blowing. And he's the only person, even remotely of the left in the podcast world. And so all the leading and sharp critics of Israel are now the right wing. It's Tucker Carlson, it's Candace Owens, it's Megyn Kelly, it's what's his name, Joe Kent. It's all right wingers. And so you have to ask the question, if national liberation, human suffering, oppressed peoples, right to self-determination of people, if that's not their animating impulse, because those are left-wing slogans and political agendas, what is? Why do they suddenly become obsessed You listen to Tucker Carlson now, there's barely a conversation which is not about this. Why they suddenly become obsessed with that? And I consider that a troubling development, because it's very easy to imagine a Tucker Carlson running for president in 2028 on the platform of the real America first, because now he's saying Trump abandoned that slogan. He's betrayed his campaign promises. A campaign platform of the real America first and the wire pullers who are controlling our country. Those outsiders with internal support, what was called, beginning with the Spanish Civil War, they were called the fifth column. There were 4 columns of troops.
So he starts talking about how, he could see that happening with Tucker, Candace, etc. And he starts talking about how he's almost likening them to World War II bad guys. How a Tucker presidency could play out. How it could be dangerous for the greatest ally and the people of, really weird. Really, really weird. I've never expected anything like this from this guy. It seems like nobody else was willing to give him a platform when Candace did. And I think she was on the Daily Wire. I mean, it was one of the things that really hit home and made it so it was like, oh, this lady's going to get fired. That was one of the things, having him on the podcast. So it was just very interesting.
Basically, right. And maybe that's what determined it. But I don't know Tucker Carlson. I was on Candace Owens for, I was told, the longest interview she ever did, 2 hours and 40 minutes. I managed, I believe, to remain principled, though I had to ignore many of her comments, which I thought were beyond left field and probably outside our planetary system. I ignore them, but strategically focused on those points where I felt I had to make clear where I stood. So it doesn't come off as if I avoided certain questions in order to curry favor. That is a careerist. So that being said, I'm not going to answer your question specifically with Tucker Carlson. I'll answer it in a more general, but I think still.
So I only play that just because I just want to play. Oh, sorry. I muted.
The right.
I only play that because it was just very interesting that he talked about Candace. What happened? I just saw my screen go a little crazy. Okay. I think we're good. Someone said brain damage. Nah, he talks slow. Someone said MF are on 0.5 speed. That's one of the people I could have sped up. I could have sped him up. You guys are right. I could have sped him up a little bit. It would have been just fine. I could have went 1.5 and it would have just been normal, But I just found it very interesting that he would say that to Candace. That he would say that about Candace. They seem like they were aligned. And I've watched this talk about a boring interview. I mean, it was very boring. Very boring. But I find most of his stuff boring. I've seen his debates where he's with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro's on one side alongside Destiny, and Norm is with somebody else. I've watched debates and stuff. I just find him like a little boring. He's funny at times, but he's boring a little bit just because it's a little slow, As you can see by the pace of this show, I don't like slow talking and stuff, right? So I just found it very interesting, very interesting that he was willing to do that. Well, he's willing to say that. I don't know what happened. Somebody's like, oh, who got to him? You know, I don't know. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. But it seems like someone did. You know, it's like, where is this coming from? I don't know. It's very weird to me. Like, where on earth is this coming from? Candace considered it a pleasure to have him on the show. And he's now talking as if he had to really, like, you know. And so somebody actually said no, he was on the Candace show. No. You can see right there. This is when she was on the Daily Wire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, this is when she was on the Daily Wire. She sat down with this guy. This is like, he's on the Daily Wire, and she decided to give this guy some time. I'm telling you, this impacted her career at the Daily Wire greatly. Ben Shapiro was not happy about this. Like I just said, Ben Shapiro has had debates with this guy and does not like anything that he stands for. And she's also had him on here just 6 months ago. Right? And we all had to go through that because we love Candace. Some of us are sitting through the 2.5 hours. Yep. Anyway, just saying. I just found that very interesting that he kind of turned on her that way. I never really expected that. Not from him. He seems, it seems like they really enjoy each other. It seems like there was an actual friendship. It's weird. It's weird to think that somehow Hunter Biden is being more authentic with Candace than Norm Finkelstein. It's weird. Wouldn't have put that on any bingo card there, you know? It's crazy. But anyway, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on. Here. We got Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly reveals something that I didn't realize. You know, we were talking about the timeline. You know, we were hearing Baron talk about what he thought in regards to Charlie and Erica, and all of a sudden, Megyn Kelly revealed something very interesting. Now, what we're going to play first is just her talking with the Hodge twins about what she thinks is going on. Norm wants division. Man, possibly. I don't know. Like, for him to be worried about Tucker becoming president, that's a weird thing to throw out. It's a weird thing to throw that out there and then paint it as if it's going to be like this dystopian, you know, Germany, World War II era type of thing. Like, that's a really weird place to go. And then to say that you thought Candace was kind of, you know, he's being nice, but he's saying that she thought some of her comments like she was out of her mind, basically. It's like, this is a little crazy to say, you know, especially him, who's been branded as all those things as well because of his stance on the greatest ally. He's been hit with all sorts of stuff like that his whole career. So to now turn, I mean, it's just very weird. Anyway, Megyn Kelly is going to talk about Charlie Kirk and what she thinks is going on with Charlie's passing and how she's kind of come around to certain ideas. Then the Hodge twin, actually, they pose a really good question to her. And then she exposes something that I did not see happening. And it links to what Baron was talking about when he was talking about the reason that Charlie and Erica were going to these end of life documents meeting. Okay, so let's play this. Let's get into this, guys. Jump in here. Boom. Megyn Kelly, ladies and gentlemen.
Life this year has in some way resulted from Charlie's murder. I think I changed dramatically on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't totally know how yet. I just know it's true. It definitely had a profound impact on me. And I don't know about the story around his murder. I do believe Tyler Robinson killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who, if at all, was also involved. I definitely.
Someone says Megyn Kelly's inconsistent. Well, that's the interesting thing. Let her finish what she's saying. Then I'm going to jump over to where the Hodge twins actually ask a very interesting question, because it kind of touches on this inconsistency you're talking about.
Am unsatisfied with the investigation into trans Tifa, around him. Why were people tweeting that he was going to get shot, he was going to die that day, and you just wait for it? And then there've been no additional arrests, and we've had no explanation on it. Like, what happened to those people? Have they been ruled out? Why were they tweeting those things? There was multiple of them, and reportedly from that community out there. So it's like that I'm unsatisfied with. And Candace Owens reported on her show something that I and many others I know had been told prior to her saying it openly. I did not report it on my show because I did not have it on the record, and I will not report something for which I don't have two sources. But it's out there now. But she did report that she had a different number than I had heard, but let's just say over 10 Israel-only cell phones on campus that day that Charlie was killed at UVU, meaning a cell phone that it's not like from it has both service in Israel and the United States, where it's like registered in Israel but moved to the United States for college. It's like this is an Israeli phone, an Israeli number that has service, originally had service over there. So, and I heard that from a very, very reliable source. So I don't know what that's about. I think it's led some people to have questions, and it could be complete bullshit. Like that could be, I don't know what that means. Maybe it's some Israeli exchange student who didn't change, like a bunch of them. I truly don't know, but that's worth investigating. I think I'm fine with questions being asked about this, and I am not satisfied that the government was open-minded to those questions.
Can you imagine it was just some exchange student? They're like, can we see this student? Walks in, 6'2", just dressed in army fatigue. And he's like, hello. Yes, I am student. Freshman. How you say? Madanit. Hello. Ken. Freshman. Yes. I freshman. Yes. Why do you have 3 side pistols? You see them. They're nice, yeah? They're nice, yes? Just, land of free. I love. That's it. I have lysine. I have lysine. It's good. Yeah. I was there, UVU. I did not do no bang bang. Not me. No, not me. I have 12 of my friends here. We are a whole platoon. I mean, how you say? My English bad. I not mean platoon. I do not mean platoon. We are friends. Friends. All of us friends. Yes. You guys are pretty big and fit. All 12 of you guys were there? Yes. You didn't see us sometime. We have the camouflage on, and 3 of them have the ghillie. What's he called? Say ghillie suit, where we wear the brush and we were hiding in grass, but it was just for fun game. That's all. And we have cell phone. Yeah, talk to girlfriend, stuff like that. We have many girlfriend. Yeah. No, so we did nothing. We just going, and we have to leave now. But we all students, all 12 of us. Yes. It's very good. Hold on. I get a phone call. BB, shh. You can. I call you back. No, I'm dealing with this stupid guy. I don't worry. I call you back. That was my mom. My mommy. That's how you say? Ima. Oh, mama. That's my mama. Don't worry. Well, this all checks out. You guys have a great day, huh? It's just a bunch of students. I'm kidding. Come on. That's not what's happening. Come on. Making jokes. Those are just scenarios that pop into my head. They're just fun times is all. Someone said, Ima, Abba. Hey, a little bit of the, don't tell the guy. Don't tell them what it means, okay? Okay, that's secret between us. Who said this? Who said this? This secret between us, you and I, okay? Who's this? Who is this? Eh? Eh? Tatutet 66. Don't say, okay? Don't say. There's Ima Abba. You don't don't tell these guys what you know, the people, you know what I mean. Don't tell them what it mean, okay? You just shh about that, okay? Ken? Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'm just joking. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm just a kidder. I just like impressions.
And did ask them. So I'm bothered by it. Because while I do think Tyler Robinson killed Charlie, I don't know whether there's more to the story. And now I don't know whether we'll ever know.
Yeah. I mean, that's I don't see how the guy that almost got Trump, how you don't spot somebody on the roof. I don't know how his security doesn't see a guy on the roof. That's like what you should be looking at all times.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens and nobody didn't notice that.
Yeah, I used to speak out about it all the time. I was like, these events that Turning Point has, I see you guys are sitting ducks out there in the open. For his security detail to be so relaxed and allow that
Trump's
to happen.
or Charlie's?
Charlie's. Charlie's. For that to happen, and the assassination tip on Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
how something like that happen is like incompetence.
Yeah. Well, I will say this about the Trump situation. Number one, we don't have enough information about his shooter at all. It's very weird.
Right.
But number two, when it comes to the government, always bet on incompetence. Always.
Mm-hmm.
I don't generally believe in any mass conspiracy at the government level because they're so incompetent. They're just a bunch of boobs. I just like the CIA can do a lot, so I have more confidence in them. So I never rule it out entirely, but it's just the ability of the government to pull off some mass like conspiracy is very, very limited.
Yeah, right. Let me tell you something. You may not like them, okay? You may not like them, okay? This is for anybody out there. You may not like them, but there are some straight up genius level operators working within all these branches, and back in the black shadowy, there's all sorts. They're not all dumb. That's what we'd like to think. They put AOC in front of you, and AOC doesn't know much, and Jasmine, whatever, Nate Crockett, she's like, yo, what's up? And then you have Kamala, and she's like, and you have another guy who's like, let's listen to the YMCA. Let me tell you something. There are some cold-blooded operators at work in the background, okay? Don't worry about the ones that you see. They're the characters. They're the characters that they put out there. There are some genius-level people who are behind things. Don't like, oh, no, they couldn't pull off anything. They couldn't do anything secretly. What? What? Are you crazy? They figured out how to control people's minds. Okay? They figured it out. I'm just saying. Like, they got it done. Like, what are we talking about here? And you wouldn't believe the means of how they got it done. Are you crazy? They have guys who are trained to go to other countries, implant themselves, learn the language, and install a new president. I'm not making that up. Okay? I'm not making that up. They have highly trained guys. Don't just think it's just, I just like a nice dance. That's all. It's just me dancing. No, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. That's crazy talk. But that's Megyn, Megyn's still here at this point. Right? I'll play a little bit more of this, but then I'm going to jump over to the question that the Hodge twins asked that kind of made Megyn think.
So is it impossible for me to believe that they saw the Trump shooter, that they failed to see the Trump shooter? No, that's not hard for me to believe at all. It's like, it's hard for me to wrap my arms around how a year after that, Charlie was killed the same way. Like how it's one thing at Butler to not imagine that there might be a rooftop killer. I do think people got relaxed. They let their guards down. They started to believe like it's fine, whatever, and I think there was some reporting that somebody wanted a crane. Susan Crabtree of Real Clear Politics was reporting that somebody within the Secret Service had wanted a crane to block the view of that rooftop to Trump, and that I think the Trump campaign didn't want it because it was unsightly. That doesn't excuse the Secret Service. Okay, so he doesn't want the crane. You got to get rid of the crane. Then you just got to protect the rooftop. Still, even more so now.
Mhm.
So I don't know what went down there, but I don't understand how, that was July of 24 that happened, and Charlie was killed in September of 25. So you're, 14 months later, you can't say it was a failure of imagination there. And what I was told by people who know is
Mhm.
that Charlie's security team was told that the local officials had it. Like the local officials there were going to patrol the roofs, and they accepted that. And obviously that wasn't the case. I don't really know to this day whether it was done just inadequately or it wasn't done at all. But if it was done so poorly, and there's no excuse. There's just gonna be no excuse, and there has to be full investigation of exactly what went wrong on the security front, and that too, I don't think has been done.
Yeah, it's not.
So now we just jump over to this question that they ask really quick. I love that they asked this question right away. Okay. So now everything she just said, right? She's like running through a thought process here. And then they just make sure to ask her this simple question that really makes her think.
So that's, you asked me why she hasn't said anything about it. That's my guess without having spoken to her directly.
So do you think Charlie Kirk's death was a coincidence at that point in time where he was starting to turn against Israel? You think it was just a coincidence?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing I'm having a tough time grasping is how does this happen now?
And to probably, I would say, one of the most important men in the Republican Party's history. I mean, when he died, I feel that America First died with Charlie that day.
Just the fact that they asked that question, because she goes through all these things and then she starts talking about how her and Charlie were facing the same type of stuff and people were saying all these things. And she starts talking about, she goes, he was turning. She's like, he was turning. He was starting to turn. I know, because we had conversations about it. His opinion was changing. And then they just look at her and say, so you think it was all this a coincidence? So you think all that Tyler stuff? You think all that stuff? We just covered Butler. And how could that happen right after? Her own words saying he was definitely changing his opinion. And then they're just like, so you think that was all a coincidence? And she's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. But at least she gets to think. I think she knows. I think she knows more than what she's saying. I think she's never going to release text messages that her and Charlie have. But I bet you they've had a bunch of text messages together because they were going through the same thing. So when you have somebody that you have this relationship enough to be on their podcast, they're probably going through the same stuff. I bet you they've had a bunch of back and forths via text.
I know what you mean. I think actually, like in retrospect, it was MAGA that died.
Yeah.
Because I think America First is still there. I think we're living it. Like there are many of us who still feel it and are living it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a principle that's being shared by everybody, but Trump has now defined MAGA to be you support Mark Levin or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like you actually have to be pro-Israel, pro this war. And he literally said pro Mark Levin or you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Great. It's good to have it defined. I'm out.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Still America First.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's MAGA, definitely not. I mean, I never was MAGA. I used to describe myself as MAGA adjacent, like fluent in MAGA.
Right.
But not MAGA.
So there you go. I just found that so interesting. So now she gets into another part. Yeah. At least they're making her think a little bit, Yeah, you got to appreciate that. So now she gets into another part where she brings up, again, this is touching on what Baron was going into. And I don't know if people knew this. I didn't hear about this. I knew that he was willing to walk away from from donors or didn't care if a donor minus themselves from, donating to Turning Point. But what she says is very different than anything I've heard. I've not heard this from Candace. I've not heard this from Tucker. I've not heard this from Baron. I've not heard this from anybody. So check it out.
Non-interventionalist faction, that's more America first, or as MTG put it, America only, at this point. I'm kind of more where she is, but whatever. And there was a battle underway when Charlie was killed to see which way Turning Point would go. Charlie had been, my own evolution with Charlie was like, we were in lockstep, and I knew Charlie very well. And we talked about this a lot. So I know what I'm talking about.
We talked about this a lot. We were in lockstep. See, that's what I mean by those text messages. For sure, they talked outside of the podcast that they did.
But he and I were in exactly the same place. We had both been very, very pro-Israel in a way that was totally unquestioning and deeply loyal. And then after Gaza, and it just went on and on, we both sort of got to the point where it was like, okay, like enough. Your most ardent fans looked the other way for a long time, but it's gone on too long. It's gotten too brutal. You don't get an unending pass on brutality, wiping out kids. Okay. Like we're paying attention. And he was there too. And he, even more than yours truly, had his finger on the pulse of what young Republicans wanted, what young conservatives were feeling. And they were already against the war. The Democrats went long ago against Israel. All of the independents had turned by the summer before when Charlie was killed. And the young Republicans were turning in huge numbers. And he knew it. He had done a forum with young Republicans talking about exactly that. And it's out there. You can see it. You can Google it.
Right.
And so Charlie was starting to turn. He was starting to turn on Israel. And he did not appreciate the pressure he was under from his donors to not turn and to not platform people like Tucker, who had already turned. He didn't appreciate it. He resented it. He was thinking about giving back their donations. And
he was thinking about giving back their donations. That's something I've never heard before. Now, some people are like, oh, she's speaking for Charlie. It's like, yeah, she's talking about her encounters with Charlie. Like, we can't have Candace tell us everything Candace told us. And then Megyn, who also had a connection and speaking with Charlie, tells us some stuff. And you go, oh, she's speaking for Charlie. It's like, yeah, guys, sorry. There's literally just one person that said that, but just ridiculous. Yes, she is saying what she knows from her conversations with him. And I do believe that they had conversations, because you could go look at the body language of when he was on her show and look at the body language when he was interviewing with Ben. He was actually happy to see Megyn. He was happy to talk. It seemed like it was almost like he was talking with someone that gets it, someone that understands. And it's because of what she just said. They were in lockstep. They were both going through the exact same thing. And then she says he was thinking about giving back donations. That's really weird. That's very, very weird. Okay. I don't, someone said, I heard that multiple times, but then everyone dropped it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard that at all. I've heard that at all. Talking about giving back donations. What would you do? What would you have to do if you were going to give back some donations? What's something you would have to do?
Death of Charlie Kirk. It's actually things that took place months in advance of this death.
Always listening to things way too fast. Way too fast. Fast life.
For example, we start with the fact that Charlie and Erica Kirk sold their house. They sold their house.
And moved into a condo. They sold a multi-million-dollar house. I have that comment there because I'm going to address fence sitting in a second. They sold their house and moved into a condo. A multi-million-dollar house, moved into a condo. Why? Now, I know we're talking about divorce and all of that could still be on could all be looming, especially if you've married someone who was this guy who was one way. And then all of a sudden over the years, because you haven't been married all that long. It's not like they've been married like 25 years. And in a short period of time, he starts to change. He starts to change his opinion. We already know from her family how they felt about the greatest ally. We already know that for sure. We already know her stance on that for sure. All of a sudden, Charlie starts changing and he goes, you know what? I think I'm going to give back these donations. Oh, Charlie, that's not going to happen. You're not serious. You know, even people in the comments right now, like, give back donations. And then he goes, oh, yeah? You think I'm not serious? We're selling our house. What do you mean we're selling our house? That big house that we have, we're selling it. We're going to move into a condo. Because I know that with what I'm about to do, we may have to downsize. We may have to downsize. Because I'm going to be giving back some donations. I'm going to be giving back tons of donations. It's really going to stir some things up, honey. And she sits there and she goes, what the I can't believe this guy. I can't believe this. I'm going to call Tyler right away. She's saying all this in her head. And the next thing you know, after that point, the countdown begins. The Erica Kirk, that house was gorgeous. That house was beyond gorgeous. That house was a dream for most of us. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that countdown begins. Right? All of a sudden, that countdown begins. And by the time we get to that day, and somebody else pointed this out for me, by the time we get to that day of 9/16, that's when she does the Zoom call. So she is made into that position. It is announced, and she does that Zoom call. It is solidified by that time. At least it seems. At least it seems, allegedly. Maybe, perhaps. You know? It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. So just thinking about that, you know, he was thinking about giving donations back. If you're gonna take that into account, that becomes something really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Maybe he was going to do that. Maybe he was going to give back donations. Maybe he was going to say, you know what, I'm leaving that cause, because maybe that's what was going on. Maybe he knew exactly where that money came from to get that house. And he was like, you know what, let's sell that. I'm going to give this back. I know what I owe people. And maybe that's why he was doing that effort, not an audit. They weren't doing an audit. They were doing an effort. And maybe that's why he had to do that. Because he had to figure out, where is this money and how much of it is there? Because you know what? I got to give it back. I don't like what these people are doing anymore. They're not allowing me to be America first, like we discussed. They're not allowing me to do what I have to do to save America. That was the objective of Turning Point. So now I have to have this effort in place, because I have to figure out how much of this money and where it is and how I can give it back. So let's get rid of this house. Let's get this effort underway. Let's change these end of life documents. And let's start Turning Point 2.0. But before he could actually do that, he passes away. That seems to be what was on the rise. Sells the house, moves into a condo, planning on taking the donations and giving them back, saying, I want Tucker there and I want Candace back. And I'm leaving the pro-Philadelphia cause. All of that together paints a very interesting picture. All of that together. I don't know. I do know. Got my Baron hat on right now. with I'm wearing a little daisy, a little lapel daisy. But you know, it's something to think about. It seems like what was going to happen is he was going to bring about Turning Point 2.0. And he really needed to understand where the company was at and what was going on. And he brought in this new guy, this fresh pair of eyes. And maybe that was causing a strain within the marriage. Because that would strain a marriage. If you were like, hey, listen, I know I've built this incredible thing, but I'm about to do something that is going to get me so many slings and arrows. It is so going to knock back this company a little bit that we've built. It is so going to damage my relationships politically. but it's going to strengthen others. And guess what else, honey? You know, Candace, who we've done such a good job at distancing ourselves from, mainly you and Tyler and the rest of my inner circle, distancing me from her. I'm going to have her right back by my side. We're going to start this turning point thing again. Candace helped me build it once before. And I bet you she can help me do it again. And I bet you she would. Then the countdown starts. Then all of a sudden it's like, doop, 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 doop. I don't know. Wild stuff, guys. Let me know what you think. Like I said, and then she gets declared CEO, announced by the 18th. All those things happen in a very short time frame. All those things happen in a super short time frame. Super short time frame. From being with Megyn Kelly to getting that temperature check with Shapiro to sending that group chat message. That sends all those guys that were in the group chat into damage control. They're all trying to figure it out. They're all trying to have private conversations with Charlie. Then Frank Turek goes to meet with Charlie. You know, all of this is happening within weeks. When we really look at it, all of this crazy stuff is happening within weeks, maybe a month and a half, but it's just happening thing after thing after thing after thing. It's because he was making huge changes to what Turning Point was going to be. He wasn't just blowing off steam. That's what they said about that group chat message. He wasn't just blowing off steam and saying, oh, you know what, Candace back and, you know, Tucker's going to stay. And you know what, I'm going to leave the pro this cause. It wasn't just blowing off steam. He was like, there's a plan. Again, once I see that he was going to do that effort, once he was going to do that effort and start figuring out where the money was, I mean, I think that was going to happen. And you can give back to, hey, you know what? You donated to this cause and you're much appreciated, but here you go. Here's your money back. You can do that. Here's your check. $2 million. There you go. And he was going to do that with every single person who was super pro Philadelphia and not pro America, not pro America, being America first. He was going to do that. From what I think, it seems like he was going to do that with all of them. And that 150, you know, however much money they control, that was just going to go down and down and down and down and down. And it would have been fine because that's not what Charlie cared about. He had nothing when he started it. He had nothing when he was building it with Candace. He didn't care about that part. But possibly the people around him did care about that part. You know? Oh, man. So sad what happened to that guy. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Anyway. That's about as Columbo as I get on this channel, quite honestly. It's just, you know, some things just popped into my head. When I heard Megyn Kelly say that, because I was just listening to that clip this morning. You know, this wasn't even planned to be on the show. When I heard her say that, he was thinking about giving back donations. I was like, what? Giving them back? I'm like, oh, that just makes everything make more sense. You know? And then when you really look at the inner circle, you know, they're more handlers and business friends. They weren't real friends. Those weren't his real people. Candace was his real people. Tucker was his real people. Tucker benefited nothing from having a relationship with Charlie. And Tucker's almost 30 years older than Charlie. So if anything, there was a lot of, you know, sunning him in their relationship. Tucker didn't benefit. He got to be on stage. Perhaps Tucker charged for those appearances, but I would imagine Tucker didn't. Is enough. So wild. Wow, I don't know what else to say about it, guys. I'm gonna jump over to BB. I call you back. Some people are watching it a little late. Yeah. Should I do a whole episode as that guy? You know? Should I do a whole episode as Officer Tatum? That'd be fun. I could do it. I just need to make it look like I have hair. That's all. And then I need to just have like a little, a little smudge that he has there. I just need a little smudgy. That's it. Just have that, and then just wear a t-shirt. We're basically built the same. We have t-shirts on. Man. But anyway, let's jump over here. We'll jump in the coffees. We will jump into supers. The coffees first. Let me see if any coffees even dropped. I could do an episode of so many people. They'd have to be shorter episodes because, good God, it would be hard. And then the fence sitting thing. Someone says Megyn Kelly's a fence sitter. I really think that people should, because here's the thing. There's some people who may be sitting in the middle because of career or because they don't want to be seen as this or that. But you shouldn't gravitate towards, you do whatever you want. I myself have stopped. I used to say this a lot. I used to say this about Rogan a lot. I've stopped gravitating towards people being fence sitters or not, because that is the exact thing that left or right is, right? That means you are in the box of this is about left and this is about right when you're talking about a fence sitter, because you're talking about someone that's in the middle. Because what you could be, I won't say you should be, but what you could be is someone who looks at what's going on the left and says, well, that and that thing is actually pretty decent. I like that thing. And then you should be able to move over to the right and say this, and this. I like this a lot. Don't like what this guy's doing. You should be able to do that. What we're seeing right now with Candace is she is able to do that. She's able to look and say, hey, I like what's going on the left in this XYZ thing. Marjorie, even a better example, I would say, is Cenk from the Young Turks and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been meeting with what you would consider, further left groups. She's been meeting with people who are like America First, who might even be described as far right. She's been meeting with all sorts of people on both sides and hearing out what they have to say, because she's decided, what, all these entities are America and I'm America only. Megyn Kelly's just talking about that. She's saying, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about America only. So she's like, okay, if they're American, I'm going to hear what they have to say, right? You see Cenk doing that a lot. Cenk used to just be like screaming. He'd be like, oh, ah, notoriously yelling at Charlie Kirk from the crowd. Charlie Kirk had to punk him off. It's crazy. I should play that clip one day. Charlie Kirk really gets up. He starts yelling at him. Never heard Charlie yell before. That's the only time. But he used to be like that. Now he's sitting down with Sean Ryan. He's seeing people do certain things. He's even seen the president do certain things and said, hey, you got to give credit where it's due. So you don't want to really be like, I don't like someone who's a fence sitter, because then you're kind of saying that you don't like someone who can see both sides for what they are, or see the good in both sides, or see the bad in both sides. You kind of do want that, I often say that I know that I'm biased, but I'm not blind to my side. So if I see something like, what the president's been doing, in the conservative movement, what these people are doing, whether it's Tatum or the Grahams or, whatever, what have you, I can call it out and say, oh, this is what we were calling out on the left. Exactly what I did with Jigsaw. Jigsaw is like, I just had to call it out. These are the talking points we were going with. You can't say Biden's super powerful, smart, and cunning, connected. We were just saying that he doesn't even know how to tie his own shoes and that he falls over if you blow on him too hard. You got to be able to call out. You got to be able to call out both sides. So see both sides. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I just thought I'd throw that out there really quick, because so many people are just like, oh man, this person's like in the middle, and sometimes they agree with the left and then sometimes they agree with the right. And it's like, yeah, that's literally how I don't want to, screw it. I'm going to talk the way I want to talk. That's literally how you should be. You should be able to do that. You shouldn't just be like, well, I'm over in the plantation here. I'm not allowed on that plantation. Mama, can I go over to that plantation over there? Democrat plantation I want to check out. No, baby. We in the Republican. We're in the Republican plantation, baby. You got to stay over here. Go ahead and pick your stuff. Oh, mama, I just want to see what's going on over there. No, baby. We have to stay here. We walled in. We morons, baby. We got to stay walled in. You know? Gotta be able to see both. Anyway, let's see. Oh, somebody showed me this. I don't even know if this is real. I think it's real. I think this is actual. Somebody showed me this. They're like, I think you'd enjoy this. This is Larry King. This is Larry King. And he's presenting a little boy. And look at this little boy. Who is that? Hey, who's that? What is this? And he's playing a little song. I didn't know this. I know by the eyebrows who this is. I didn't realize. Thank you to whoever sent this to me. This is so funny. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, that's Ben. That is Mr. Shapiro playing a little ditty. I mean, what? I didn't know he could do that. Being presented by Larry King as well, which is really weird.
12 years old. He'll be accompanied by his father, David. He began training on the violin at age 5. In addition to the violin, he plays chess, loves baseball, completes in track and field.
Someone said, is that Brett Cooper? Hey, uncalled for. Uncalled for. How dare you? How dare you? They do look like the same person, though. I've always said that. Yeah. Maybe that's why Ben grew his eyebrows out. He was like, I'm tired of people running up to me and telling me that I'm Brett Cooper and they love my show. But you know what this shows me? As I'm seeing Larry King present him, yeah, nothing is organic. Yeah. Like what? What is this? You're getting presented by Larry King when you were 12? What? How? This whole thing's been playing the whole time. Play the smallest violin. So it's play the smallest violin in the world. Yeah, if you or I of normal stature had to play that violin, we would just go like this, you know. We would just go like this. For Ben, he's like, this thing's huge. So funny. So weird. Yeah, it seems that it kind of makes me feel like he's been a plant the whole time, which makes perfect sense. I mean, there was nothing organic about his rise. That's stunning. Stunning. But there you go. That's Ben Shapiro. I had no idea. Ben Shapiro. Someone said, Ben Shapiro. Brett Cooper is the tall Ben Shapiro. Oh my gosh. How dare you guys? Don't drag Brett through the mud. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. But yeah, this is wild. I don't know. Just figured I'd show that really quick. But yeah, it makes me realize like this guy was just put in that position the whole time. Kind of like Sam Harris. I know a lot of people who watch the live streams, they haven't been staying up with all the videos I've made over the years. But I did something where I was covering Sam Harris. It was because Sam was talking about Joe Rogan. And I was like, I figured out Sam Harris. A lot of people don't agree with this, especially if you like Sam Harris, but he's like a Nepo baby. And people go, no, he's not a Nepo baby. And I'm like, yeah, he is. His mother made the Golden Girls. How many of you are old enough to know what the Golden Girls is? His mom made that. She was one of the most prolific sitcom writers ever. Everything she touched turned to gold. She was very powerful in Hollywood, very powerful with publishers and agents and managers, and clearly got her son into something like that, which is why it was so easy for him to move into the speaking space. Someone says, I loved Golden Girls. Look, Golden Girls was, Golden Girls was great. I used to have to watch Golden Girls when I was a kid. My mom. I love Golden Girls. It was wild. But yeah, his mom was very powerful and put him in position, and that's how he became part of the intellectual dark web. It wasn't just based on merit. It wasn't like he's a guy that just popped up on his own. He had connections. He had high-level connections in Hollywood, in entertainment, which then spans into podcasting, which also spans into selling books, also spans into advertising. He had all of that connection. Didn't know that until like a year or two ago. But yeah, that's Sam Harris. I guess Ben Shapiro is pretty similar. Don't know anything about his parents. Don't really care to check. But yeah, I guess nothing's organic. Man. It's very weird, you know? Very weird that that's the way the world works. Yeah. I was talking about that with my mom the other day. My mom is Oprah, if you don't know. And me and Oprah were just talking about how, you know, it's just like, is anything really real anymore? No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? His mom was Oprah the whole time? What do you mean his mom was Oprah? Yeah, mom's Oprah. Well, what can you do? What can you... I have the same dad as Drake. My mom's Oprah. How's everybody doing? This is an organic outfit we got going on here. I'm kidding. Let's see what we got for these coffees, guys. Let's see what we got with these coffees. Cough. I don't think we have much going on with the coffees today. Let me see. Actually, we might. Let's check her out. Let's make sure you guys can see it too. How about that? You know? Yeah, Trudeau's dad is Castro. Yeah, you know, like the more you look into it, it's crazy. The more you look into like family connections, I'm telling you, if you knew everybody in Hollywood, if you knew like all of their grandparents, you know, like I always say that about like rappers. Like so many rappers are just like, I'm black, I don't have a dad. But if you like knew who their dad was and then knew who that guy's dad and mom were, you'd be like, oh, you're a theater kid. You're a theater kid with big chains on. I bet you there's so many like that. You know, nobody's allowed to know Jay-Z's parents. You figure out who Drake's parents are and you're like, oh, Drake's dad is connected. His uncle has played with Prince and knew Prince and knew all of the hottest acts ever. And it's like, oh, that's how he got on a show and everything like that, you know? I mean, you know, you can't discredit what he's done. He's about to sign like $1 billion deal or like a multi-billion-dollar deal. He's an incredible artist, but it just like makes sense. So of course he's an incredible artist. He has his family who are incredible artists. It's like in his blood to do this at a high level. You know, you look at J. Cole, you find out who J. Cole is. He's another rapper. He was born on a military base. It's like, what do you mean you were born on a military base? He was born in a military base in Germany. What? Martin Lawrence was born on the same military base in Germany. Martin Lawrence, the black comedian, actor, Bad Boys, he was born in a military base in Germany, like West Germany. It's like, what? What's happening? How does this work? One of the female black rappers right now that's out, she has an association with the agency. It's like, what the hell? What? How? But it's like, just tell us your parents' names and we'll understand better. You know, Cardi B's parents aren't black. You know, neither of them is black. Why she say the N-word so much? Who gave her all those passes? She has an abundance of passes. It's really weird. It's just weird. This is weird stuff when you start looking into it. It's just a bunch of odd things, you know? But I can say this about Drake. At least he didn't hide it. He didn't hide who his parents were. He was like, this is my dad. Love my dad. You know, his dad was a drummer. He's like, hey, look, this is my dad. Hey, look, this is my mom. All these other guys are hiding it. They're hiding it. You were born in Germany on an American military base in Germany? The hell? What? Why are there so many rappers that have military backgrounds? You ever looked into that? You know how crazy that is? 50 Cent once said, going off on a TED Talk here, 50 Cent once said that his dad and George Bush Jr.'s dad were a part of the same thing and that he can't talk about it. What? What'd you say? Are you worth $500 million now? Wait a second. And then he said that Jay-Z's dad was actually a part of the same thing. George Bush Jr. confirmed it and said he can't talk about it. What the what? What? I'm not making that up. I'm not making that up. It's real. How is that? Do you know most of the rappers that you grew up listening to in the 90s were all went to, they were all like within a like 2 city blocks or within like a city block. They were all in the same place. All of them. Why were Cameron Diaz and Snoop Dogg going to school together? What? What are you talking about? There's so much. There's so much when you get into it. It's just dumb. It's dumb. It gets so dumb. That's why when when Candace Owens goes, "Oh, Nick Shirley's not real," I'm like, probably not. I don't know. Like, probably not. Because I know about so many people. Frank Morrison's dad, ZZ Top's dad. Like, what? You're who? You're an admiral? Why are you an admiral? What? It's too crazy. There's too much. It's just ridiculous. There's just so much to it. It's nuts. It's nuts. When you start looking at celebrities, and then a bunch of them just look like each other. They look like twins of each other. It's like, what's happening right now? You know? Tell me more about Kanye West's dad. I want to know. Is he associated with a lodge? Tell me. I want to know the truth. My mom, and this is actually weird. My mom grew up with Rihanna's dad in Barbados. Because my mom came from a poor place, but she got scholarships to like better schools in better areas. So she knew him. She says that their family was rich always. There was no coming to be. Their family was always rich. Like, what? Always? She's like, yeah, he was always rich. And her mom too. What? I mean, it's just so much. So much. Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler. Oh, come on. You're going to mess me up like that? Aniston, Adam Sandler. Oh, they do look a little similar. A little bit. They do look like a little similar. A little bit. A little bit. She looks like his pretty sister. You know? That's she looks like she could be like his pretty sister. You know, like they don't hang out too much. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. Just a little bit. They're not like, you know, twins or anything like that. But there's a lot in Hollywood. It's all silly. It's all silly. You know? Think about this. You actually thought Jack Black was funny. How about that? How'd they get you like that? How'd they trick you like that? Go back and watch some movies. It's not funny. How'd they get you like that? How'd they get you? Oh, they get you, man. It's weird. Anyway, let's jump into some supers here. Oh my gosh. You know? How'd they get you? You know? Adam Sandler. Did you really think back? Did you really like did you really like that? You sure? Huh? Go back and watch it. How'd they get you? How'd they get you? How'd they get us all? You know? Did you really like when Adam Sandler did that? Oh, how do you get millions of people that like that? That's weird. How do you get so many people? Everybody loves it. Like, how? Anyway, gotta get going. Love your rendition of Life Itself, Coach. All the best to you and Mrs. Coach and the little ones. Big Big blessings to you. Keep it clean. Lots of love. Keeping it clean. Lots of love. Thank you so much. Love from Australia to you and your family. Kazi Perth. Good on ya. Good on ya. Amelia, can you make shorts of mama sessions? I've been trying to find the mama. No longer watches Tucker. You heard it here first. What episode was it? Oh, I should really keep track of where I do those impressions. I should really be keeping track of that. You're right. It's because I need it myself. Like I might use that stuff and go on stage, you know? So it's Corey Feldman looks like Charlie Sheen. Yep, he does. He does. There's a no, I can't get into that rabbit hole right now. But there's this black actor. I saw listen, check this out. Ryan Gosling, okay? I have to get into this a little bit. Ryan Gosling and a Jamaican reggae singer named Popcan or Popcon, okay? Popaa or Popcaan, okay? And Ryan Gosling. Why do they look the same? Why do they look the same? Oh, man, you guys are throwing me off here. Now I got to find these guys. Ryan Gosling, Popcorn. Let me just look at this. Look at this. Why do they have the same nose? They have the same nose. They got the same mouth. They got the same length mouth. What's going on here? They got the same eyes. Not everybody has these eyes. They're weird eyes. Both of them have, little lopsided on one side. It's the same side. Why? Why and how? How's this work? Why does this keep happening? I'm just saying, there's a lot to it. I'm just saying. Why? How? How do they look the same? This guy's from Canada. I know he is. I used to watch a show of his called S Club 7 when he was a kid. I used to love that show. This guy's in the trenches of Jamaica. Why do they look similar? Yes, they do look alike. I'm sorry that you can't see it. Some people can't see past skin color and whatnot towards people that look the same. There's too many. There's another one. That's a real lady. Why? Why do they look the same? What is this? Huh? What's happening here? What is this? How does this happen? What is this? I don't know. Anyway, you're throwing me off here, guys. Gosling's negative. Dark Goslin. Dark Goslin? Jeez. Yeah. But yeah, I should keep track of these episodes. I really should. You're right. And I'll try to from now on. I don't know. There's one in there. I might have to just hire somebody and just be like, hey, go find all my impressions. Just go find all of them and bring them all to me, Mama, why don't they want Mr. Trump to have his ballroom? They so ignorant, Mama. Oh, baby, you got to understand. There's going to be a data center underneath that ballroom, baby. And there's going to be all sorts of rituals and dark stuff happening in that data center, in that underground. That's why people don't want the ballroom, baby. Mama, what you talking about? What you mean, Mama? Ain't nothing wrong with that data center. That data center going to be good. That's going to be good for the American people. Oh, baby. They said that it was going to be paid for privately, and now they want $1 billion of taxpayer dollars, baby. Why you so slow? Mama, come on. Mama's smart. That's what I'm going to do from now on. Mama's going to be the voice of reason from now on. Dry koozie. Free dry hydrotherapy June 17th medical expo. I don't know. What do you want here? Dry hypotherapy massage. I don't know what that is, man. I won't be there. I can tell you that much. Shelly Blaze off. My favorite morning man. Thank you so much. Jamie. Not there's a different Jamie. Hey, coach. I one that sent the 916, a biblical reference to 916, and what verses the Masons allegedly use. Kind of crazy. Oh, yeah, you were telling me. I was looking into that. I threw it into ChatGPT, and it was like, ChatGPT was not rejecting any of what you were saying. ChatGPT was like, yeah, like it was showing me all sorts of stuff. Kind of crazy. I just want to add, Charlie went from politics, but honoring Jesus by spreading the gospel towards the last few years of his life. The reason why everything is falling apart on EK's side is because God is giving divine vindication to Charlie. God ultimately rights all wrongs, exposing injustice and publicly clearing and honoring the name of the faithful. We are watching this in real time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Yeah. And he really did focus in on the gospel near the end. Like he really got deep into it and he understood it on a really great level. I mean, that one thing that he said on that podcast where somebody asked like what would happen if he died, like what would he want to be remembered for? And he said being righteous in his faith. That really got me, especially when it first happened. Like I would cry when I would see him saying that, and that really inspired me to do the same, to really start talking about it more. Also, I mainly listen. What did you send to? You just said also. Oh gosh, what's happening right now? Okay, so we'll start here. I just want to tell you, this has become one of my top 3 favorites. I love that you bring serious information and share your opinion and still make people laugh. Been here since right before you started going live. Haven't missed one since. I wear AirPods almost all day and can't count the number of times I've gotten stared at while I'm at work for laughing out loud so hard listening to you. I would love to hear you do stand up too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Also, I mainly listen on Spotify because I have the subscription, but I still go to YouTube to hit the like button. Wow, what a shining example for everybody, guys. Hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button. Don't even worry about it, guys. We'll still be here. You run off, hit that like button really quick, and just come on right back. Don't even worry. You won't miss a beat. And I'm so curious about the comments on your episode. What is this? Oh, they're Bedbard? Are you saying episode from Teresa Bednard or Bedard? Teresa? I don't know. Who the hell's Teresa? They're always so strange and don't make sense sometimes. It's not everyone, but pretty regularly. I know recently episode 72 and 73 have some comments from him /her/them. To be honest, I don't know how to determine if that is a bot or what's going on. The same username comments on Candace, Baron, and Tucker's episodes on Spotify as well. Interesting. Oh, Spotify comment. I never see Spotify comments. I have no idea what's going on with Spotify comments. But thank you so much. And thank you for watching on Spotify. We are on Spotify, guys. You can go and watch the podcast there. It is there. Video, audio, all that stuff. So you can check that out. Same thumbnails, everything. You guys can go check that out. We're monetized over there as well. So it helps just as much. But yeah, I don't know how to determine if someone's a bot. It's getting harder and harder. You can't just be like, this person's a bot, this person's not, because people are getting weirder and also the tech is getting better. So it's so hard to tell who's who and what's what. It's getting really, really tough. Oh my gosh, I just sent you a coffee and then the Cam Higsby thing came on. That was hilarious. You're the best, coach. Don't thank me. Thank Cam. That's wild. That's a wild clip to have on the internet. Thanks for being live on a holiday. Appreciate you so much. Thank you very, very much. Of course. And happy Memorial Day. You know what I learned on Memorial Day? I learned, I mean, it feels like kind of knew it already, but somebody was talking about how Memorial Day is not Veterans Day. And it's different. and you're supposed to be like very what's the word, somber for the people that have passed, whether it was in battle or if they were a vet and they just passed away. But I like the video I was watching, actually a Ben Shapiro video I was watching, and the man he was talking to was making that distinction. He goes, it's not the same type of day. It's a different type of day, a different type of feeling, you know? It's almost like, if I had to explain it, like bringing somebody their flowers while they're alive, giving somebody their flowers when they're gone, you know? Bringing someone their flowers when they're alive, like Veterans Day, is very fun. It's very fun and very rewarding, both sides. Having to bring them their flowers when they're gone is sad, but still necessary. So that was a cool thing that I learned on that day. Thanks to Ben Shapipi, friend of the show. I don't know if my super chat went through, but did you know that Corey Gamble's parents know that Where's Waldo, I believe that's MFer, is the owners of Mary Kay Cosmetics. He was adopted at age 3 by rich white parents by the name of Fancy RF. By rich white parents. Her name is Fancy RF on Instagram. All the family photos are there. There's also photos of Kris Jenner, Kathy Hilton, and that woman all in black and white checkered jacket at some get together. I can see that. You know what family the Hiltons married into, right? Kris Jenner. That's one family. Kathy Hilton, one of her daughters, married a very powerful family that I will not name. But Kathy Hilton's actually really fun. I like watching her on Beverly Hills Housewives. And then she's connected to Kyle Richards, and Kyle Richards is connected to Mauricio Umansky. And the Umanskys are, they're like a quite powerful, established family. It's pretty interesting, the whole thing. When you really get into like the Housewives and you start looking into it, you're like, oh, wow, these are like some very rich and powerful people. Hey, coach, wondering if your FB page is active. I have a message a few times. I think I've seen your message a few times on there. They show red. I haven't read your message, but I definitely have seen it. I feel like I could see it now if I went through here. No, I can't. So maybe I did read it. No, it's right there. I didn't read it. Talking about a P.O. box. Saying you have a package for me. You know how scary it is when people say they have packages for me. Weekend, only 16 followers, 3 posts. Now I feel dumb. No, it's the real Facebook page. I don't have time to use it. I might ask my guy to start posting things over there. At one point I wanted to make Facebook dedicated content, but it's just too much. So yeah, we might just start posting there as well. I think that's the thing to do. Anyway, I'm looking for a shipping address. Exactly. P.O. Box, share with the fam. Thanks, Renee, North GA. But yeah, I see your message here. Raise with purpose. Love you, coach. And that is it for supers, at least. Let's move on. Ladies and gents, if another coffee comes in, I'll see it here. Look, another one came in and it's not telling me. I don't know why it does that. Here, I'll read yours here. It keeps doing that. Hilby, love from South Texas. To you and your growing family, coach family. I'm in Candace's book club and think you would love some of the books on her lineup. Sigmund Freud and the Philadelphian Mystical Tradition by David Buchan. This book goes over their belief systems and is truly eye-opening. One thing throughout reading these books, I wonder how many spies and plants she has inside of her book club. How many people are there, for that type of thing? I wonder. I bet there's a bunch. One thing throughout reading these books that I keep on picking up on is how they try to take a scientific standpoint in understanding humans, almost as if they are not a connection with what we maybe think is behind what's going on with the UFO op that's happening currently made me think that, one, they have been cooking this up for quite some time. They have, Project Bluebeam. Maybe the curtain has gotten heavy, allegedly, maybe, perhaps. Anywho, on a lighter note, today is my birthday, and I would love to dance it out. Dance out a Nunca Nunca, I Know Black Poppy, I Know Black. This is funny because this lady's so white. As I'm reading this. Hope you have a fantastic my birthday, and y'all have a fantastic your birthday. Oh, okay, I get it. And y'all don't forget to hit that like button. Nunca Nunca, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, I know Black Poppy. I know Black, nunca, nunca, no Black, nunca, nunca, I know Black, nunca, nunca, I know Black Poppy. Anyway, happy birthday. Let's move on to the supers. Again, if there's another one that pops up, I will see it here. Let's get into the super chats really, really quick. Let's see what we got going on here. First one. Minions to Zinions. Zinions. That's what you call them. Zinions. There you go. Perfect. The Zinions pop out. Thank you very much for that. Hats cover. Appreciate you. Hey, Coach, I sent you some emails about Erica. Email came from my Gmail. Justin. Okay. I know. Yeah, okay. If it is something you would like to cover, I would love to help. Okay. We will look into that. What's this? Oh, that was the one I already had up. Man like Rasta, man like Coach, bruh. You need to raise your creaming game up. I clocked you yesterday. What do you mean you clocked me? I was putting it on. I did it. Actually, some of it's still ashy. The insides are still ashy. Whatever. Thanks for the kiss at the end. Appreciate it. Messianic cults and Cervic, Sabaton, Antichrist. Who is this? This is something that Star Studio would usually write. This is a different person writing this. Same type of language, though. For the Dave Rubin joke. I mean, it was a joke. It was a joke. He loves his children, of course. Summer warning. Boulay inspired race riots. Yeah. A lot of people don't know what that is, but I do. And I don't know if they're inspired by them. I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces to it, but yeah, every election there's going to be something like that. They're always trying to find something like that to divide people. Hey, I tagged certain people because I want them to know I'm talking about them and want them to know it, but also tag if my comment is important. So you do that. I was talking about people tagging people. I was like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? You're instigating. That's what you're doing. You're instigating. In his trying to be a good Christian. Who? Tatum? I don't think he is. I don't think he's concerned with that anymore. People attacking Candace online are acting like, the girl Natalie is trying to be a good Christian. Yeah, no, she's not. She's just attacking a kid. But yeah, I know what you mean. Candace online are acting like they're in Mortal Kombat Ultra. People who used to be decent are risking their reputation for Erica/Trump. They seemed different since Charlie passed. Yeah, right. It seems like a weird activation has happened. Like this crazy activation has taken place. Using my free message to wish happy birthday to Ashley. Oh, this is the wife. Hello, honey. Ashley Gobble. Is that what that is? Gobble. Thank you for always being here and supporting Coach Colin. Coach Colin. You mean my husband? You can say husband. That's okay. Joseph Davenport, Megyn Kelly hosting the Super Show. Really? Including main headliners Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. Special guests include Andrew Colvette, JD Vance, potentially the president, BB, Erica, and Jigsaw. What? If that was actually real, I would go. I'd be there. I'd be live streaming that. Biden's 4 years were heaven compared to this S show. No matter who was running the country, corruption is 1,000 times the corruption is 1,000 times anything Joe/Hunter did. You know, there's actually one of those Jubilee, you know, like 20 blue-haired people versus one guy in a suit, like that whole thing. There's one with Glenn Greenwald, and he is talking to a bunch of MAGA people, and he is getting that point across, that exact point that you're making there, and he's structuring it. And the guy that he's arguing with or that he's debating is just not cut out for that type of thing at all. Just terrible. He almost seems like a plant. He doesn't even seem like a real person. But yeah, he makes that point pretty well. And here's the thing. It seems like we can see this administration's, if you want to talk about like the children and like the family and what they're doing, we can see it way better this time around. A lot of what Joe and Hunter did is still shrouded in secrecy. You still can't fully tell what was going on, right? With what's going on in regards to this administration, his family, his kids, a lot of it you can see through the stock market. You can see Howard Lutnick making money with his kids. You can see them making money. But when it came to those Russia and China things, it's like you'll never know the full extent of what was going on because it's Russia and China. So I definitely agree. You can see it way more intensely, way more. It's like way more out in the open, you know? Anyway, let's keep going here. Now in political support, I believe that the enemy of the enemy is my friend, a candidate against the current administration in Philadelphia. Even if Democrat, I will push for them versus liars. God bless. Yeah, there's a lot of people that feel that way. A lot of people are feeling that way. And that's what happens, man. Come on, what's this? Pendulum. The pendulum swings. You know, and it swings one way as sharp as attack, and then it swings the other way, and the guy's dancing the YMCA, and people are like, what the hell is this? And then it swings the other way. It's going to keep going like that until there's like a legit third option, or that coalition that all these people are like pretty much talking about and forming as we speak. Till that happens. That's the only thing, you know, like when we're talking about a pendulum, the only thing that can disrupt the pendulum is something else just like interjecting and being there. And then the next thing you know, that pendulum has to slam up against it. And that's where it stops, you know, and the stopping could be a good thing, or it could be the end of everything. Who knows? I can feel my brain cells withering away while watching this Norm guy. You never seen Norm before? You never seen Candace talk to Norm? He's it's hard, you know, slow talker. The one good thing we get from Megyn was the video of Charlie telling Tucker to go max. That is the best thing that she has supplied for sure. Nina, I truly appreciate your recaps. I didn't check X all weekend and needed to be updated on the news. Crisis King indeed. And yeah, I'll always be on there. I'm jumping in. Clemson Koozie. Charlie Kirk had 2 generations of people he could lead against the two-party system. The elites couldn't let that happen. That's true too. Imagine, see, that's exactly what I mean. Imagine we're talking about this whole coalition, right? Candace seems like she's gravitating towards that. Hunter seems like he's gravitating towards that. Tucker, Rokana, Sean Ryan, you know, I'm pretty sure we'll start to see, I bet you we'll start to see AOC start to gravitate towards that. I bet you we'll see that. There's so many people, Massey is definitely gravitating towards that. Marjorie Taylor Greene for sure. Imagine if Charlie was alive. Like right now it's like Massey and who and Candace and this and that. If Charlie was still alive, the only thing that would make sense right away would be Candace and Charlie. That's the only thing that would make sense. Massey, step aside. Tucker, step aside. Young blood right now. Let's go. That's the only thing that would make sense. and they would dominate. It would be a domination. And then with what we talked about earlier in the podcast, in the live stream, in the broadcast, about Turning Point giving back donations, stepping back, going into this 2.0 mode, downsizing heavily, removing all these donors and all these people in the inner circle that don't need to be around. Oh my God, it'd be a tidal wave. It'd be unstoppable. They would be unstoppable. Let's go here. Let's go here. I wish we could hear the recording of Charlie getting retooled. I would love to hear that too. Didn't Victor say he recorded all of them? Maybe Candace can get access to it. Yeah, I wonder where that would be. I guess it would be in Erica's possession if it exists, or maybe Victor would have it. Victor said like they were recorded, but I don't know. It's hard to trust that guy. Aaron Ra, Cash Patel. Aaron Ra won PGA championship last weekend. Shapeshifters. Can I highlight that? I can't. I mean, you're making me do this. You're making me do this. Aaron Ra. Let me see this Ra character. He doesn't look like Cash Patel. He doesn't look like Cash Patel. Like a little bit. Not really, though. He doesn't really look like Cash Patel. Not really. Not really. Not really. You know that Where's Waldo MFer, Corey Gamble? Guess who his parents are? Play Mary Kay Cosmetics. Yeah, I don't know who Corey Gamble even is. I was reading your coffee about it. Corey Gamble. I have no idea who that is, unless I see his face. Oh, I kind of know who he is. Oh, I do know this guy. Yeah, he's a bunch of. Oh, he's like with Kris Jenner. Like this is his lady. That's his lady. Oh yeah, being labeled a cougar. So that's his lady. Yeah. All the black people that are around the Kardashian family are just MK. Oh, every single one that's ever been involved with any of them at all. That's all they are. Clearly, I mean, what are we talking about here? It's literally the movie Get Out. Whenever you see one of those guys with one of those ladies. Kanye included, of course. So glad my famous dad died with his soul intact. I feel like you told us about this. Yeah, your dad was crazy famous. So many just accolades to your dad. It was crazy. It was nuts. Gospel rapper D1 and rapper J. Cole. Yeah, they definitely look alike. They're both light skinned. They look alike. And D1 was throwing up satanic hand symbols, and he was like, "Oh, I remember I called him out on it." This rapper D1, if you don't know who that is, Christian rapper, he was throwing up like these satanic hand symbols, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, those hand symbols are very, very satanic, and they're steeped in like Masonic and this and that." And he's like, "Oh," because he's like from New Orleans. He's like, "You must not been around long, partner. Let me tell you about what this is right here. Right here, what we talk about here. When I do this just mean business. This mean," but and he's saying all these things. I'm like, bro, these hand symbols have existed for thousands of years. What are you talking about? You think you established this 2 years ago? Are you insane? And I don't even give him that charity of being like, oh, he just doesn't know. No, he's just a rapper that's clinked up with the seedy baby oil clique that exists within the entertainment industry. Hi, Coach. Candace released more receipts on Jigsaw. Please check it. No way. Did she really? More? She's just yelling at her. She's for sure just yelling at her. For sure. Oh, gosh. Candace. Oh, my gosh. Oh, goodness. She's showing plastic surgery pictures of Jigsaw and then putting Candace all over it. Wow. Candace is pissed. Candace is very pissed. Oh, wow. Candace is just dominating this lady. This is crazy. This is not fair anymore. It's not fair anymore. Candace is locked in now. She locked in. Does she have a show to prepare for today? Doesn't she have a show coming on in like 3 hours? Candace is the best that way. Sway Diesel, a friend of mine, tried to finish a jigsaw and accidentally swallowed part of it. He's trying to find his inner peace. Oh, that's a good dad joke. That's a good dad joke. That's a solid dad joke. Good for you. Good for you. Robert Richard is 100% Neil how do you say it? McDowan's son? Oh, see, there's just so many. There's just so many. There's too many. And we're seeing them all now, you know? There's so many. Your mama bit reminds me of the outro of the song Liberation on the album. What does that say? Aquimini by Outkast. It's the one where the kids are scared of a storm. I have never heard that before. Maybe I have if I actually hear it. Who do we have in the house here? Is this Daisy? Is this the greatest interviewer in America? Daisy, people are getting weirder. I had the exact same thought when that person asked about how to tell bots from real people. It's hard out here. You never really know. Yeah, you never really know. You never really know. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's very hard to point it out. You know, it feels easy, but then it's like you take a second look and you're like, I don't know. And on top of that, the bots have got, before bots used to have 0 followers, 0 people following. They were following 0 people. Maybe they had 2, maybe they had 3. Now there's bots that have 10,000 followers. And you're like, okay. And the bot's following 5,000 people. And you're like, God, that's a pretty good following they got there. And it's still a bot. It's crazy. You know, one thing you can tell, if you're on X, you want to tell if somebody's a bot, you go to their replies. And if their replies are all just, you know, pointed at Candace, let's say, or their replies are just like thing after, it's always the same thing, then you'll know it's a bot. Otherwise, it gets tough. It gets really tough. Off topic, but to your point, thank you for being so generous. Off topic, but to your point about rappers, you would think Jadakiss grew up in poverty. Yes. I know exactly what you're going to say. He didn't. He's part of the Locks. He's the most gangster rapper in the world. He's part of the Locks, part of DMX's crew. He has that laugh he does. Some of the most gangster verses you've ever heard. I mean, you would think Jadakiss grew up in poverty, single cracked out mom, but he was raised completely the opposite. Even Jay-Z said, I dumbed down my audience and doubled my dollars. Rap is fake. Yeah, rap is 100%. Rap is, Megyn Kelly's like, the Gov is incompetent. I mean, the Gov made rap music. That's what the Gov did. You know, the Gov made gangster rap. You know, rap was going in one direction where it was like all beneficial and positive, and they were like, I think we can make this one of the worst things in the world. Agent Johnson, you think you can write something? Yeah, probably. What do you want me to do? Just write something that destroys the community completely. We need to destroy the community really quick. With words. Words are more powerful than drugs. Okay. Straight from the underground. They want to take an N-word down because I'm brown. How about that? How's that sound? That's pretty good. We'll call them NWA. Let's do that. Let's get a guy who has a military background. Let's get another guy who's in a boy band, Dr. Dre, and we'll slap these verses on these guys. How about that? Oh, Dr. Dre was in a boy band with a Jerry curl. Oh boy. You think I can't find that? Dr. Dre in group singing. Oh boy, oh boy. You think I can't find that? I'm going to find it. No. You show me that picture of Dr. Dre when he was young. There is a picture of Dr. Dre when he's young. You got to show it to me. Okay, Dr. Dre, old pick. Come on. No, older than that. Oh, I bet he had it scrubbed from the internet. I bet he did. because he's in this group and he has a Jerry curl and he's singing. And he looks weird. Oh man, I wish I could find it. He has a Jerry curl, Dr. Dre in singing group, and they were singing. He was like in a boy band. It was like a black boy band. Oh, please, somebody find it. Oh, it's been scrubbed. Oh, it's just all gangster pictures. Oh, he did it right. Smart guy, because he knew one day I'd pull it up. Smart guy. Oh, there's so many pictures of him like this. I wish I could find it. I wish to you I could find it. Oh, I'll have to try and find it another time. There's a group. He's singing in this group. He's a singer in the group. It's not Boys from the Hood. No, he's a singer. He is a singer. It's weird. He has a Jerry curl. It's not like a cool gangster Ice Cube Eazy-E Jerry curl. It's like a slicked back boy band type, black pretty boy Jerry curl with like baby hairs and stuff like that. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. Oh, I wish I could find it. They've wiped it. They've wiped it from the internet. Okay, wasn't Dr. Dre in a group singing? They're singing when he was younger. Let's see what AI does. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. I found it. Let me see these guys. Look at that. It's from the 80s. Check this out. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Oh, I want to go closer. I want you guys to see it. Go closer. Let me see this. Is this close enough? It's just as far. But that's him right there. That is Dr. Dre right there. You wouldn't believe it. That's him. That's him right there. Oh, yeah. In a shiny suit. Oh, yeah. These guys are just entertainers, folks. They're just entertainers. That's him. That is Dr. Dre. That's the Chronic. That's the guy. I'm telling you. They're just entertainers. It's crazy. I wish I could go closer. Let me go closer. They won't even let me go closer. Come on. I wish I could zoom in on this face. There we go. There he is. Boom. That's Dr. Dre. Isn't that weird? Isn't that odd? Who's that? Who's this? Who are these people? Grandmaster Flash vibes. They weren't rapping. They weren't rapping. They were singing. That's one flashy crew. Yep. Look at that. That's Dr. Dre, man. I'm telling you, it's weird. The whole thing is just, it's not real. A successful electro DJ with his group, World Class Wrecking Crew. Daft Punk mentions Dre in a song Teachers about artists that influenced them. So that's what it's called. They're in something called like the Wrecking Crew. Here, you want to see another one? Is this another one? Oh gosh. How many of these can I find? Oh, they're not showing them to us. Dang. There's another picture. I don't care how petty this seems. Everything's a lie. Everything's a lie. They've been making things up to us forever. Crazy. Stole the name Wrecking Crew. Yeah, there you go. Eminem is MK Maka Monarch. Yep. Anyways, guys, that was fitting. We have 33 supers. There's a few more here. Thank you so much for that rabbit hole, Nina. We appreciate you. What did the bee toddler, our kind, said when he had diarrhea? I'm melting. I know. Close to the bone. What? I don't even understand that one. It sounds disgusting, but I have no idea. Shapiro consumed by melanin envy. Shapiro, maybe. Check your email for the link to Dr. Dre Fix. Thank you so much for that. I sent more Dr. Dre Fix to IG. What else? What else could you have sent? What else could you have found in this time? You know? What else? What else is there? I don't even know which name to click. Which name is it? No, it wasn't even. I don't even. Oh, Big Boy Paloy. Oh, Big Boy. There you go. Oh, goodness. Wow. See, that's him, NWA, right? And then it changes. Beforehand, he wasn't NWA. He was that weird looking dude. Oh man, it's all a lie. All of it. What do we have here? Didi Got a Podcast did a good episode on the deception of rap. I saw that and I never got to listen to it. I saw exactly what you're talking about. I never got to listen to it. I think I have it in like my save later or something like that. Watch later. I had an interview with a rapper talking about meeting in the 90s where they signed NDAs and the labels own private prisons. Yeah, that's a real thing. I've done an episode on that. That is, I think, Busy Bone or Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. And they're letting people know that there was something where the artists had to sign these documents and not talk about the fact that they were basically they were to perpetuate the gangster rap, the gangsterism into the culture. And the people who own the record labels actually had stake in private prisons as well. That's a real thing. Ice Cube talked about that with Bill Maher. There's an interview, Bill Maher's Club Random, where he sits down with Ice Cube and he starts talking about how the people who are like the main players behind the scenes in rap also have big stake in private prisons. That's a real thing. It's a real thing. Very real thing. Anyways, guys, we have to get going right on time. Gotta say hello to the wife and the kids. And we gotta get out of here. Candace is back today. I don't know if Baron's gonna be live today. It's Tuesday. I feel like he might take this day off. I think. I'm not 100% sure. But stay tuned for Candace, most definitely. She will be at it. She will be going hard at Loomer. I would assume she will be going hard for her daughter as well. And hopefully there's some other information, but I just see that it's going to be Battle Bun activated Mama Bear mode. And you don't want that. That's like two things in one. So they've made a big mistake playing that game with Candace. But we will see. We will see, and we will talk about all of it tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know I was 2 minutes late. Thank you. Thank you for being here anyway. Hit that like button, please. It helps tremendously. You have no idea. I'm out of here.